Chapter 40 Exploiting Panda Professionals. Yang Tao was flustered and her cheeks burned. One's own haul an older female young man, by an 18-year-old senior student to provoke the spring, this. Zhang Di, don't talk nonsense. Yang Tao said with a tiger's face, how many times have I told you not to joke with me? Zhang Di thought for a moment and finally looked serious. Okay, then I won't joke with Mr. Yang from now on. What does a few Phuket mean by abusing your husband for a while and chasing him to the crematorium? Every time, you insist that you're joking, so we'll see. Although Yang Tao was relieved, she still seemed to be very lost in her heart, and she didn't understand what was going on. Professional ethics told himself that developing a relationship with Zhang Di was an absolute no-no, that would be unethical. An exploiting panda professional like Zhang Di still needs morals? Where's the hullabaloo? What kind of morals do you want if you don't want Zhang Di's face? Yang Tao took a deep breath and said, forget about the money for now, let's talk about that electric car, what's going on there? Zhang Di had a cold expression as he sat across the table, picking his nails very casually, a scene that left Yang Tao somewhat speechless. How did this suddenly? Picture change? From a cynical little badass to a high-strung little hottie? I only heard Zhang Di coldly say, Zhang Di, gave someone a gift, why do I need to explain to others? If you insist on an explanation, then all I can tell you is that I see you're a bit of a disgrace to me on your little broken electric donkey. So, I'll just have to give you one. Yang Tao opened his mouth wide, and the corners of his mouth drew hard. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Yang Tao laughed in exasperation and grabbed a book and threw it at him. She cried and laughed, get real, I'm not joking with you, I'm talking about something serious. Snap. Emperor Zhang grunted angrily and slapped the table, his eyebrows knitting into a lump. Come on, I'm not joking with you either, it's ridiculous, you're always making a joke out of someone's deepest feelings, what a hopeless woman. You remember, the woman that I, Zhang Di, look at, no matter what, even if she does not like me, then I, soon, will change the next. Zhang Di once again snorted coldly and directly opened the door to leave. Phew, so hungover. Looking at the open door of the room, Yang Tao's entire body was dumbfounded, and since the beginning a whole face was in a flushed state. She pulled the crumpled love letter out of her jeans pocket, remembering the delivery man's explanation yesterday. Yang Tao's heart was in turmoil. She lightly bit her lips in confusion. She also knew very well that Zhang Di wasn't joking, but this was immoral. A crumpled ball of paper was handed to Yang Tao yesterday when the delivery man brought the tram to his door. And to the popcorn. This could be a message written by that young man, I just don't know why he gave it a ball and threw it away when he was halfway through writing it. This is what I took out of the wastebasket, don't worry, I didn't read it, I just think he's torn between sending a message or not, so pardon me for volunteering to help him get it to you, bye. Of course, this was taught by Emperor Zhang. It's an extra $20. A ruse, full of ruses, but how did Yang Tao know it was a ruse? She could only stare at the crumpled note in bewilderment. The above is clearly visible. Dear Ms. Yang Tao, please forgive me for my presumptuousness and abruptness, I have never left someone for half a day and thought of going crazy. I don't understand what's wrong with me, I panic when I don't see you, and I always think of you when I sleep at night. I've been mischievous in class and just so I could create some alone time with you, I don't understand what's wrong with me. But I don't know how to express my... It was over, and then Zhang Di crumpled it up into a ball, and instead of throwing it into the trash basket, he just handed the ball of paper to the delivery man with a few words of explanation. No mention of the word like in the whole article, but it's full of love, which is probably the emotional attack of a high-level scumbag. I don't like it, hey, I'll let you think I like it, I don't say it, I just play it. Yang Tao carefully folded the love letter and tucked it into the innermost compartment of his wallet, and was left in a long tangle. How am I going to face this affectionate little man? My heart is in turmoil. How could she possibly know that this was Zhang Di's purpose already accomplished? The goal was to get her mind wandering and rambling. It was already the end of class, so Zhang Di decided to go to the restroom before returning to the classroom, and a large group of people were rushing to the restroom in a hurry. While peeing, Zhang Di entered the system and was considering whether or not to upgrade his quartering ability. Instead, a familiar but unfriendly voice came from his ear, "You kid is the biggest prick in our class. Teacher Yang didn't hang you from the beam and beat you, right?" Zhang Di, who was wandering through the system, turned around to look at the sound, and it turned out to be English teacher Zhao Jiming. Crap, you. You stepped on a horse. Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 80 points of negative emotional value. Crap, what's wrong with Mr. Cho? How did you get so rich all of a sudden? It's only been 10 minutes and he's gone and gotten a gold rim? In fact, it was not. Zhao Jiming was now on the verge of exploding with rage, so his anger value had reached a critical point, and there were signs of striking out and hitting someone. Zhao Jiming took a step back with a face full of anger, tugging at his pants while shaking off the urine that was showered on his left leather shoe by Zhang Di. The surrounding students who came to the restroom looked dumbfounded, standing still as if they were dumbfounded, watching Zhang Di pee on Zhao Jiming. Zhang Di's heart thumped, secretly screamed, playing bird. Playing with birds, huh? It's very fitting. Zhao Jiming's face turned blue, his forehead veins bulging. Zhang Di's old face turned red and was filled with embarrassment. Now he was afraid that it was already a bit late to apologize, wasn't it? How in the world do you handle something like this in a way that shows you didn't mean it and is highly emotionally evasive? Zhang Di was in a hurry and said dryly, Come on, mister. Zhao, come. Come to the water fight. It's okay if you don't say that. Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 60 points of negative emotional value. Zhao Jiming's face was already as black as the bottom of a pot as he angrily roared, Zhang Di, you kid is tired of living, right? Only then did Zhang Di turn around to aim at the pit and innocently look at Zhao Changming. Mr. Zhao, I really didn't mean to do it. Whoever did it on purpose is a grandson. This was true, Zhang Di really didn't mean it, he was just a bit invested in researching the Quatermass ability. So much so that I forgot I was peeing. Zhang Di explained with a bitter face, Teacher Zhao, I've just been hung and beaten by Teacher Yang, and I'm in a bad mood. You spoke to me out of the blue and I forgot I was peeing. I'm so sorry for drenching you. I'll go back and write you a review. Zhao Jiming gritted his teeth and said, How come Yang Tao didn't beat you to death? A trash student like you doesn't deserve to go to school here, get out. Zhang Di's heart pumped and he almost poked the vitals. Zhang Di said in a deep voice, Teacher Zhao, so many students here are still watching, is this how you conduct yourself as a teacher? Zhao Jiming also seemed to realize that what he had said appeared to be somewhat inconsistent with the cultural cultivation of a professional teacher. Just a dark, angry grunt. Zhang Di lifted his pants and skipped off, saying in a tone that was not too big or small, but full of contempt before he left. How dare the sparrow compete with the eagle? Chapter 041, The Old Man and the Gatling. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 100 points of negative emotional value. Exempt, good guy, Zhao Jiming is definitely plated. You poke me where it hurts, I'll poke you where it hurts. Come on, hurt each other. The winner in the end is always me anyway. Besides, I'm not lying, am I? Mr. Zhao himself is out of shape, unlike Emperor Zhang, who is pouring rain. Zhang Di walked out of the restroom and directly ran wildly back to the classroom, staying for what? What are you going to do? Bugger off? But all morning Zhang Di was on edge. It was good that Zhao Jiming didn't pursue himself excessively. The fun was short-lived, and Monday passed quickly, with school dismissing promptly at 4:00 p.m. Zhang Di rode his god donkey to Old Qian's funeral store, which had a yard at the back that was Old Qian's workshop. It's full of reeds and some tooling materials for papier-mâché. Uncle Qian, are all my things tied up? Old Qian wore a pair of dark circles under his eyes and yawned, Look at these dark circles under my eyes, I was busy all night yesterday and didn't sleep. Your aunt came to help early in the morning and ended up tying up 10 gatlings and some bullets. The point is that it's not good for this stuff. Old Money said bitterly, why don't you take these first? Come back tomorrow afternoon to pick up the rockets and shells? A middle-aged woman was doing her work with her hands and feet, and she was looking at Zhang Di with a smile on her lips. What's going on in the minds of youngsters these days? Spending all this money on this crap? Zhang Di looked at the yard full of Gatling and boxes of crates of bullets and burst into laughter, taking out another $1,000 on the spot and handing it to Old Qian. Uncle Qian, Auntie, you've worked hard, take this money, it's an extra payment for your hard work from me. Aya, you child. Well. He was not polite, and Zhang Di did not care about this. As long as the old man could be happy, he could spend as much money as he wanted. Uncle Qian collected the money and laughed, Let's go, it's not easy for you to get rid of so many Gatling alone, I'll send them to you. Okay, no problem, I'll ride my bike, you follow me Uncle Qian. Loading all 10 Gatlings, and a couple dozen rows of bullets, Old Money helped him get it all to the cemetery and drove off. At this hour, the cemetery will be empty. Zhang Di began the long process of drawing the talisman, about an hour or so later. Zhang Di looked at the rows and rows of bullets at his feet and fell into deep thought. After a long time, he muttered, "Will such bullets be too ordinary? If it can't do any harm to the brats underneath, haven't I burned them for nothing?" There! Zhang Di's eyes lit up. Using a vermilion pen, write on each row of bullets, spectral bullets, which can deal devastating blows against evil spirits and ghosts. In the distance, behind a tombstone, Zhang Kai confusedly scratched his short-colored hair full of puzzlement. Strange, what the hell is this guy up to? He's not some kind of psycho, is he? What was Director Chu Weikwok thinking? Letting himself examine a psychopath? Forget about it, there are 3 or 4 more days before his work is done, and it's up to God whether or not he can program this man into the Bureau of Psychic Investigations. Then, a blazing fire was lit right in front of Zhang Kuian's grave, and one Gatling after another, row after row of bullets, all of them were burned over by Zhang Di. After the burn, Zhang Di then felt a sense of extreme weakness. It was a bit of a struggle to move, and it was as if his essence had been emptied. It's like being grabbed by the whole class of girls to get rid of their loneliness for a whole night. Damn, I didn't realize that burning a Gatling would be so consuming, so I'll be sure to live within my means when I burn the bazooka tomorrow. Zhang Di climbed onto the tram and breathlessly patted the head of the tram. "Baby, take me to the nearest pharmacy." Then Zhang Di laid down on the car seat, which was quite comfortable. God's donkey rushes to the nearest pharmacy at a normal speed of 40 mph. Zhang Kai behind the tombstone was surprised. I go, now electric cars are so technological? Automatic driving? Hell! Black Iron City, on the majestic schoolyard. Zhang Kuan, who was commanding the entire army to practice, heard the muffled thunder in the sky, and the first thing he did was to look up at the golden light. The old man grinned. "Good grandson, I haven't even given you a dream yet, and you're here to burn something? What did you burn this time? Guys, come and get the goods." The old man waved his hand, and a few of his cronies floated all the way over. Under the shroud of golden light, one Gatling after another fell from the sky. Zhang Kuan opened his mouth wide in disbelief. Spare a thought for the old man, he was shocked by this scene. The entire group was in a state of confusion. Until one of the Gatlings hit him hard on the side of the head. It was only then that Zhang Kuan grabbed this Gatling in his hand and studied it, the texture of the steel, the precision workmanship, full of mechanized modernity. Then there were rows and rows of bullets that emitted a special ghostly aura, slowly falling down the golden light channel, more spectacular than an airdrop. This kid. Ha 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 ha. Zhang Kuan laughed out loud. Yang Shichang asked with a puzzled expression, "Marshal, what is this?" "Marshal, the precision of this object, sees the clever heavenly work. What is the use of this object? How is it that I've never seen this before after living in hell for hundreds of years? Could this be another product of the Yang that the Major burned down?" A few close friends with their hands on the barrel of the gun aiming to look in, not afraid of a bullet to blow into a cyclope. Zhang Kuan took the row of bullets and looked at the special text labeled by Zhang Di on it. The corner of his mouth rose with a touch of relief. This kid is really meticulous. The old man explained with both eyes, "This is a good thing, it's a great weapon to use in war. Yun Hai, go to the evil ghost purgatory in the city and capture a few vicious evil ghosts. This marshal wants to calibrate the new weapons." "Yes, Marshal." The Ghost King called Yun Hai left in response. Shortly afterward, 5 fury-ridden, hideous-faced evil spirits were escorted to the schoolyard and, as instructed, tied to posts. Every one of them is a Ghostbuster-level evil spirit. Zhang Kuan studied the bullet carefully before snapping it on, holding the Gatling in one hand and pulling the trigger with the other. Under the horrified gazes of the insurgents, a bullet with a blue flame shot out of the barrel of the gun. A bullet struck the 5 ghost fiends, each one causing a large area of ghostly energy to collapse, leaving fist-sized holes. A mournful scream came from the schoolyard, the sound getting weaker and weaker. Only halfway through a barrage of bullets, the 5 ghost fiend-level evil spirits were blasted into a cloud of ghostly chi that gradually dissipated cleanly. Zhang Kuan nodded his head with satisfaction. The power is quite big, but this bullet, it seems to be a little less. Dream for the kid to burn more bullets at night, and some bazookas down the road. By the way, if you can, tanks are fine. Grandpa, are you trying to tire me out? Chapter 042 Zhou Jian Tianjun. Not over the top. Zhang Kuan smacked his lips and said, Yun Hai, go and pull 20 more Ghost General level evil spirits, I'll raid them all today. At this moment, the old man was transformed into a crooked-lipped god of war. With 9 of his cronies, each carrying a Gatling, he beat 20 evil spirits of the Ghost General level full of holes and eyes. By the end of the day, the evil spirits were blown to smithereens by the intense fire. The old man waved his hand, let's call it a day, save some ammunition for your marshal, it's not easy for him to burn something. Suddenly, the old man froze, his brow knitting into a pimple. Finally, his face was full of puzzlement. It's not right, this kid was tired enough to burn 5 plutonium coins a few days ago, why did he suddenly burn so many things today? This currency can't be compared to items, burning this one Gatling, at the very least, would be worth 2 piles of plutonium, and he's burning so much in his head? Could the old man's eyes were glowing, this kid is on Earth, there can't be any strange encounters, right? The old man guessed that Zhang Di should have had some kind of miraculous encounter, and his body had become stronger in all aspects, or else he wouldn't have been able to burn so well. Zhang Kuan muttered, it seems that the plan has to be brought forward, hurry up and get you to hell to return peace to the earth. Marshal! At that moment, a henchman floated over with an official box in his hand. Marshal, these are all the Ghostbusters orders seized from the various netherworlds in the city, what are we going to do with them? There were dozens of black tokens stacked in the box, with the landmark Fengdu City of Hell on the front and a poorly written character on the back. Zhang Kuan said to himself, rebuilding the hell is imminent, so let's start by reorganizing the Ghostbusters. You go about your business. Grand Marshal, my subordinate will leave. The Ghost General drifted away. The old man gently beckoned, and a ghostly god shrouded in ghostly aura and wide black robes arrived in front of Zhang Kuan in a matter of moments. The ghost god spread out his sleeves and prostrated himself on the ground, his tone respectful. Zhou Jian sees Lord Prefect. Zhang Kuan asked with a dignified face, absolute heavenly official, how many ghost messenger tokens do you still have in your hand? Back to the prefect, a total of 23 Ghostbuster orders. Zhang Kuan explained, together with these, there are a total of 56 pieces, so take these Ghostbusters orders with you to join those Ghostbusters who are stranded in the Yang world. Also, go to the headquarters of the Psychic Investigations Bureau and give this to the highest leader in there. Saying that, Zhang Kuan took out a letter from his arms. Absolute Tianjun said in a surprised tone, Lord Fu Jun, if the subordinate officer goes to the Yang world, he can never come back, and you are surrounded. By you? The old man smiled faintly, you can rest assured that with your strength, you won't be able to play much of a role by my side. Go ahead and plan to act. Yes, Lord Prefect, my humble servant excuses himself. The first official of the 6 heavenly days of Luofeng, ghost god Zhou Jian bowed and retreated. A certain pharmacy. Zhang Di, who had parked his car in front of the pharmacy, looked a little surprised and moved his gradually re-energized body, feeling doubly amazing. Sitting on the seat of the divine donkey, the expended essence was replenished by more than 100 in just 10 minutes. In other words, he only needed to sit on the divine donkey seat and recover all his energy in half a day. However, Zhang Di didn't have that kind of free time to charge and recharge for most of the day. Since he came to the drugstore, Zhang Di would not return empty-handed, and immediately rushed into the drugstore to scavenge 10 bottles of kidney treasure tablets, spending more than 1,000 oceans. Ding! Detected a fortifiable item. Kidney treasure tablet, each bottle requires 100 negative emotional value to be consumed, please ask if it is fortified? Reinforcements, all of them. Ding! Reinforcement successful. After spending 1,000 emotional value to strengthen 8 bottles of kidney treasure tablets, Zhang Di became a pauper again. How come all this effort to earn these emotional values is so unresistant? Some comfort was gained when checking the properties of the kidney treasure tablet. Props, kidney treasure tablet X8, 126 capsules pack, each capsule can replenish 20 points of yang energy value. Sure enough, it was much stronger than the 6-flavored Di Huang pill. 1 Di Huang pill only replenished 1 point of yang qi, 1 kidney treasure tablet, surprisingly, could replenish 20 points of yang qi. Grandpa won't have to worry about me running into a female ghost anymore. Under the regretful gaze of the pharmacy lady, Zhang Di left the pharmacy. Back home. Zhang Yuning looked at the kidney treasure tablets in Zhang Di's bag and asked, Zhang Di, what are you holding in your hand? Oh, it's nothing. Zhang Di tucked it into his arms at once. Zhang Yuning's gaze hesitated, I have seen it all, it says kidney treasure tablet. You. What is going on with you? Since things were exposed, Zhang Di also did not hide, immediately took out the kidney treasure tablets and explained, recently, I always felt back pain, so I went to the drugstore to buy some kidney tonic medicine to make up. Jiang Yuning blushed and hastily glanced at Zhang Di for a few moments, but she was still concerned. If you have back pain, you should go to the hospital and have it looked at before letting a professional doctor prescribe medication for you. You're taking it indiscriminately like this, you'll get into trouble. Zhang Di said in a serious manner, I can obviously unscrew it myself, why do I have to run to the hospital to let the doctor open it for me? After saying that, Zhang Di turned around and went back to the house. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Jiang Yuning opened her mouth, speechless to the point of exasperation. You should use your hands less in the future. That slipped out. Why would I say that? Jiang Yuning instantly turned scarlet, then hurried back to her bedroom, suddenly having an urge to help Zhang Di out. Abides so pathetic, he doesn't have a girlfriend and has to do it himself. Fuck me, why would I even think that? I'm still a virgin, no one's even helped me out yet, and I'm helping him out? After eating, Zhang Di went back to his bedroom with a cup of water in a thermos cup, then ate a whole bottle of kidney treasure tablets in one gulp. The consumption of burning Gatling for the old man had barely replenished less than half of it, but that was enough. In the meantime, Qin Meng stood behind Xinsher and watched her brush the dishes, smiling. Sister, your cooking is really getting better and better. Xinsher said unhappily, don't be poor, I'm still limping here, and you didn't say anything about helping me brush the dishes, you little lazy bastard. He. Qin Meng smiled cheekily, I came to sister's place just to come and be lazy, otherwise I wouldn't have come. Xinsher said in a bad mood, you just said you came to my place because you missed me, why did you change your mind now? Qin Meng heatedly laughed, sis, don't care about these details, at home, mom doesn't even let me play games, so I had to come to you. Okay, go play the game. Okay. So Qin Meng laid down on the sofa and started to invite Zhang Di to play a game. After tidying up the pots and pans, Xinsher took out her cell phone and looked at a WeChat avatar in a daze, with an expression that looked as if she was very upset. Zhang Di, this asshole, why didn't he go through my friend verification? Just add it again. Chapter 043, let's raise the child together, okay? Zhang Di, who was stealing the wild with his dark letters, stole a red buff and was about to return to the tower, only to be wrapped up in his opponent's dumplings, giving away his third head. Zhao Yun, Li Xin, you don't know how to play, can you not go into the opponent's field? Zhao Yun, look at others, Dongfang Mirror is 4,000 economy, I'm only 3,001, it's all because of you. Xiao, Li Xin, didn't you say you could take flight? Is this what you call taking flight? Marco Polo, switching lanes, I'm 5-0, look at you giving away 3, I'm almost through on the bottom lane, come down and steal. Kaiwen Ji, Jin Meng Li Xin good fun. Zhang students please do not send. Xiao regretted letting Zhang Di take her to fly, Zhang Di can't take Qin Meng to fly, at least he can let her fly. Zhao Yun, fuck, there's always one less person in a group fight. Finally, a few minutes later, what had been an advantageous game was hardened into a disadvantageous game by Zhang Di, and it was time to defend the house again. The 3 highlands were all broken, and people had pushed into the crystal, and the mentality of the teammates was crumbling badly one by one. Zhao Yun, fuck, 1-6 Li Xin, you're sending another one to Super Ghost, is this what you fucking said to take us to win? Little Joe, if this wins, I'll wash my hair upside down live. Marco Polo, geez, a promotion match, how did we meet such a pitiful person? Kaiwenji, Zhang, you're guarding the house, so switch to Quangshan, just in case you can hold it. So Zhang Di switched his dark letter to light letter as a Highland security guard. Then the first one died in battle. Zhang Di looked at the black screen cell phone and silently typed a line of text. Li Xin, you idiots, what's it to me, Light Xin, about the bullshit Dark Xin blows? Zhao Yun, ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 30 points of negative emotional value. Little Joe. Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 30 points of negative emotional value. Marco Polo. Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Qin Meng buried her head into the pillow and broke into a fit of laughter. Obviously, Zhang Di was reported for giving away his head, and then he was banned and had to go play matchmaking or switch to a chicken game. Accompanying Qin Meng to play 2 games of chicken and a few games of futsal. When the time came to 9 o'clock, Zhang Di exited the game and sent a message over to Qin Meng. 3 good scum, Qin Meng remarks, big pig feet. Qin Meng, it's time, I still have things to do, I'll play with you next time. Sheen Meng, okay, love, JPG. Big Pig's Hooves, Sheen Meng, I often take out so much time to play king, eat chicken, and backgammon with you, do you know what that means? Seeing this message, Sheen Meng's heartbeat accelerated and her cheeks burned. Holding her cell phone in one hand and using the back of her hand to rub her hot little round face. Does that mean the big piggy is going to confess his love for me? Sheen Meng was nervous as hell. Sheen Meng, what does it mean? Say it means you like me and then I'll reluctantly agree to be your girlfriend. A sweet relationship can soon begin happily. Sheen Meng's face was so shy and cute, but it was a pity that the current Zhang Di couldn't see it at all. Big Pig's Hooves, I'll accompany you to play king and play chicken, which means I really like playing games. Sheen Meng. I have my pink underwear off and you're telling me this? Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 50 points of negative emotional value. Good lord, it looks like Sheen Meng was pissed off this time. Sheen Meng, Zhang Di, you big pig's hoof, I'll never talk to you again, I'll never ignore you again. Zhang Di sighed in his heart, hey, this girl is like this every time, and the next day she was still happily playing with herself happily. Some girls are like that, the more angry you are with her, the more she likes you. At least Sheen Meng is in love with Zhang Di, the steel straight man. Zhang Di secretly decided that as soon as the college entrance exams were over, he would find an opportunity to confess to Sheen Meng. Summer vacation was a good season to fall in love. Opening WeChat, Zhang Di tapped on his contacts. There have been several friend requests, all from the same person. 2 days ago, Zhang Di had already decided that this person was definitely Qinshi, and she had taken the initiative to add her friend, so what other purpose could she have besides revenge? Zhang Di thought carefully for a minute before the corner of his mouth finally quirked, and Wang Chaoyong's beaten face appeared in his mind today. He even said that he should have thrown himself against the wall in the first place, and he cursed so hard, so isn't it time for this revenge? So Zhang Di agreed to the friend request and sent a message over at the first opportunity. 3 good scum, Lin Yuejiao, I beg you, don't add me as a friend anymore, my parents will kill me if they find out. Qinshi looked at the message in confusion. Lin Yuejiao? Who is Lin Yuejiao? As for who Lin Yuejiao was, Zhang Di had no idea. While Qinshi was confused, Zhang Di sent another message over. 3 good scum, didn't I give you money for an abortion? I also gave you $20,000 for nutrition, how long are you going to pester me? Qinshi's mouth opened wide, oh my god, 666. No wonder he didn't go through friend verification for 2 days, so he was afraid that people would find him in trouble. In that case that made sense. Qinshi's eyes flickered with a blazing fire of gossip. I didn't realize that this guy is still a scumbag. Scumbag to this extent, is he still a human being? 3 good scum, you change WeChat to add me every time, do you really think I don't know? I've already given you money for an abortion and you're still pestering me? 3 good scum, you are 6 months pregnant, I beg you to stop tossing and turning. I Wang Chaoyong think I can afford you, I have been kind to you. Qinshi looked at the 3 words Wang Chaoyong with a confused expression. Strange, isn't his name Zhang Di? How come it's Wang Chaoyong again? Could it be that Sun Qingshan pushed WeChat the wrong way? Qinshi had to seek confirmation from Sun Qingshan. Sun Qingshan, boss, he's just called Zhang Di. At least the name he told me was Zhang Di, how come he became Wang Chaoyong? Qinshi fell into deep thought and suddenly became enlightened, a hint of wisdom smiling at the corner of her mouth as she seemed to understand. With this kid's style of behavior, it's inevitable that he'll offend people when he's out and about, so that's why he's using the fake name Zhang Di, right? The purpose is to offend others after people cannot find him. In fact, his real name is called Wang Chaoyong. Ha, the old lady is so smart. With a cold smile on her face, Qinshi replied back, Chaoyong, I'm already 6 months pregnant, I beg you not to abandon me, okay? How about we raise the baby together? The corners of Zhang Di's mouth twitched, good lord, this woman is really on the ball. 3rd best scum. Anyway, I've already paid you to have an abortion, so if you don't, it's not my fault. You can have this child if you want to, I don't want it anyway, so you're on your own, and don't bother me in the future. Then Zhang Di took the initiative to delete the other party's WeChat, and Qinshi sent a message over, showing a red exclamation mark. She couldn't tell you how wonderful her expression was. Without rushing to refriend her, Qinshi pursed her lips and sent a message over to Sun Qingshan. Old son, no matter what method you use, you must get Wang Chaoyong's home address for me tonight. Humph, this straight man of steel, you wait and see. Sun Qingshan was dumbfounded, who is Wang Chaoyong? Qinshi, it's Zhang Di is his fake name, his real name is Wang Chaoyong. Chapter 044, Professional Porcelain Team. It's night. Dark moon and spooky night. Since today is the Migyuan festival, most ghosts and monsters will also become unusually excited and active at night. It's also one of the busiest days of the year for professional ghost hunters and independent nightwalkers. There are lone heroes waiting for their chance in the darkness of the night, and there are small groups of 3 or 5 traveling together in the darkness of the night. The 3 men in the spacious street stopped panting and looked around warily. The party of 3 was peculiar, an obese monk of 1 meter 9, greasy at a glance, always maintaining a squinty-eyed smile. An old Taoist priest with a white beard and hair, carrying a small Zhongkue mahogany sword on his back, and a stout, burly man. Strange, why is it gone? The ghostly aura fluctuation just now was clearly in this neighborhood, how come it's gone in the blink of an eye? I've never seen such a strong fluctuation of ghost chi before. This ghost creature's rank is at least above the ghost general level. I don't think so. That aura is obviously deliberately hiding its aura, and by conservative estimation, it's also a party of ghost kings. The aged old Taoist raised an eyebrow and became excited. Ghost king? This is a ghost item that can be encountered but not sought. The Ghost King Ghost Pearl is a good treasure. Go, look around the neighborhood again. Just as the 3 of them were about to leave, the fat monk's ears twitched and suddenly reached out to stop the crowd. Wait, there's movement. What do you mean? Anything? The fat monk waved his hand in a gesture. Get out of the way, I'll listen. The obese monk wearing a bright yellow-colored robe took a deep breath and blew the dust on the highway with a diameter of 5 meters clean with one breath. Then again, he put his head to the ground and listened intently. While listening, he frowned. The distance is getting closer, the speed is very fast, but it feels strange. What's so strange about it? The fat monk listened while looking grave. It's so fast, and the movement is very small. It doesn't sound like the movement that a car should have. What's that? I don't know. At this time, a white phantom instantly arrived in the distance, with a violent sound that cut through the air. Whoosh. Zhang Di drove his divine donkey and joyfully roared down the main road, his speed directly going up to 460. It's nearly twice as fast as a bullet train. Wherever it passed, it left a visible tire print on the road, and everywhere it went, leaves were blown off the roadside in large swaths. Crap, someone. This speed was already the limit of what Zhang Di could control. If it was any faster, his reaction speed would not be able to keep up. A true illustration of the car running in front and the soul chasing after it. At such a fast speed, it was too late to brake, and Zhang Di never dreamed that there would still be people on the street in the middle of the night. The obese monk's pupils contracted violently, his mouth opened wide, and he watched a cartwheel roar from his face. Grunted and crushed through with a loud thud. The first thought that came to Zhang Di's mind was, this person is finished. Sleeping in the middle of the street in the middle of the night? Getting your head run over by an electric car at that speed is no less than getting hit with a several-ton hammer. This big head is likely to be crushed into a rotten watermelon. What to do? Waiting online, quite urgent. Will they blackmail me? If you let yourself lose money, you can't afford to lose the only property left by the old man even if you sell it. Zhang Di mumbled a silent sin in his heart, then stopped the car to look around a short distance away, his heart tense. The old Taoist priest and the middle-aged strong man were dumbfounded and froze for 3 seconds before they completely reacted, and one of them took one of the fat monk's hands and yanked it up. Half of the fat monk's face had a black and purple tire mark that surprisingly had skid marks on it. Shit, what the fuck? The obese monk sat on the ground and shook his splitting headache and drowsy brain, only to feel his eyes blinking and blackened. The old Taoist and the middle-aged were wide-eyed. Zhang Di's eyes were about to glaze over as he looked at the monk's head with a horrified expression. That's a hard head, isn't it? And you're okay with that over your head? However, it was a good thing that the person was fine, and he or she was relieved that the old man's house was saved. Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Shouting at the 3 people on the road, Zhang Di was then relieved to leave. When the obese monk came back to his senses, he climbed up from the ground with a black face and gritted his teeth. Have you seen it clearly? The old Taoist nodded with a grave expression. See clearly. What is that thing? The corners of the old Taoist priestess' mouth twitched, grinning his mouth that was missing several incisors. Hey, that SA white electric car, Huangju, I didn't expect you to have today, ha ha ha. The old Taoist laughed indulgently. Monk Huangju said with a black face, if it is not the poor monk practiced our Buddhist Vajra invincible body head hard enough, today's life will have to be accounted for. Old mongrel, did you see it clearly? Are you sure it was a motorized car that went over the poor monk's head? Look closely, it is indeed an electric car. Well, White, I saw that too. Monk Huangju said in astonishment, what kind of electric car can reach such an amazing speed? It feels faster than a high-speed train. The old Taoist nodded, indeed, it's faster than a high-speed train. The middle-aged strong man pondered, even if we take it to be modified, it can never be modified like this electric car, there must be a problem. Huangju gritted his teeth, damn, almost gave the poor monk a head start, this is not over, Chase. So the trio followed the tire tracks all the way. Arriving at Dragon Mountain No. 1, Zhang Di said to his crotch-divine donkey, Little White, turn on the flight mode the next second. A wing stretched out to the left and right of the little trolley's pedals, followed by a jet of blue electrical power. The swoosh rose off the ground at a height of at least 5 or 6 meters. Of course, it could have been higher, except there was no need for that, and it was enough to get over the fence. Parking his car downstairs, Zhang Di was ready to take the elevator to the 12th floor when a dark shadow suddenly sprang out of the hallway to block his way. Zhang Di raised his blue flaming slap and was about to hit, when the other party hurriedly whispered, Don't do it, it's me, Sun Qingshan. It was only then that Zhang Di got a good look at the other party, with little hair, a pitted orange peel face, and a suit that didn't fit very well. Why are you here? Zhang Di asked suspiciously. Sun Qingshan looked a bit lewd as he hemmed and hawed, I knew that you would definitely come in the next 2 days, so I've been standing guard here, what are you looking for me for? Zhang Di also sort of asked knowingly. Sun Qingshan hemmed and hawed and smiled, Brother, if it's convenient, can you give me your address? That way if you can't get through on the phone, I can still go to your house to find you. Zhang Di did not move and said in a flat tone, Well, my home is at No. 12 Xingqing Street. Sun Qingshan's heart rejoiced, come on, the task explained by the boss was successfully completed, wait to be promoted and get a raise. As for the name thing, Sun Qingshan didn't ask at all, but took the initiative to ask, You're here to clean up Fan Yonggang, right? HM. Zhang Di nodded his head. Sun Qingshan said with anticipation, Brother, do you want to cooperate? This Fan Yonggang is a ghostly ghost-level ghost, and has a lot of grievances and hostility. You alone is not his opponent, we join forces, ghost beads sold money half of a person, really cannot, 4 or 6 can be, I 4, you 6, you more helpers, how will that lose, moreover, I've spent a lot of money to buy a big killing weapon that specializes in dealing with ghosts. Sun Qingshan took a black searchlight from the waistband of his pants behind him and smugly waved it in front of Zhang Di's eyes. What is this thing? Zhang Di frowned, isn't this just an ordinary flashlight? Flashlight? Sun Qingshan skimmed his lips and said, This is something you're uninformed about, isn't it? This thing is called a daylight matrix lamp. As early as a few decades ago, various countries around the world formed weapons research organizations in order to be able to eliminate ghosts and monsters as early as possible. Gathering the best scientists in the world, they have developed a number of weapons that can deal a fatal blow to ghosts and monsters. This daylight matrix lamp is one of them. Don't look at his appearance as just a flashlight, this is very powerful. Ordinary high-level ghosts will completely go up in smoke if they are illuminated for 5 seconds, and ghost spirits won't last a minute. It also has strong utility against ghosts and goblins of ghostly level, as it shines out a searing light that is more than 3 times as hot as the sun's rays, and can be very damaging to ghosts and goblins. With him, that evil spirit Fan Yonggang can't escape. You don't even need to do it, you just need to shine this on him. I'll do it myself, how about it? Zhang Di was surprised, so powerful? Bring it to me. Sun Qingshan gave the daylight matrix lamp to Zhang Di. Zhang Di held the daylight matrix lamp in both hands and looked at it, then said to Flashlight with a serious face, Brother Flashlight, you are so powerful, let's work together. Chapter 045, I'm here, don't be afraid. Good brother, you're so powerful, let's work together. Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. The corners of Sun Qingshan's mouth twitched, and he exasperatedly said, Dare I say so much, you think I don't exist, right? Zhang Di smoothly threw the fluorescent light to Sun Qingshan and said unhappily, I haven't even said anything to you yet for wasting so much of my time, but you're so good that you're complaining about me first? Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 10 points of negative emotional value. Zhang Di didn't bother to talk nonsense to Sun Qingshan and said bluntly, I won't cooperate with you, I'm fine alone. Sun Qingshan chased after Zhang Di and shouted, That's a late-stage ghost, you've only just stepped into the ranks of the Nightwalkers, you don't understand the horror of this kind of ghosts and monsters. With that little fire-breathing slap of yours, you can't do any damage to a ghostly-level ghost, and even if you could, it would be a scrape. Hey, forget it. Sun Qingshan followed into the elevator and said with a face full of helplessness, if you don't cooperate, then you don't cooperate. If you're not cooperating anymore, why are you still following me? Sun Qingshan didn't have a good temper. You kids so don't know the depth. I don't follow you. I'm afraid that you will die upstairs. Besides, you helped me to save my boss last time. This time, it's as if to return the favor to you. Zhang Di shook his head. No, I don't need you to return that favor of yours right now. When I need it, I'll let you know. You fucking. Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 10 points of negative emotional value. Sun Qingshan sighed, I can't help it if I meet someone like you who doesn't see the coffin and doesn't shed a tear, so I'll take the initiative to help you for once. Having said that, Zhang Di didn't stop him from following him. Arriving at the 1202 door, Zhang Di rang the doorbell. Indoors, Hai Young, who was cleaning the house and was tired with her forehead dripping with fragrant sweat, heard the commotion and came to the door, checking through the cat's eye. When someone knocks on the door at night, people usually don't open the door unless they have confirmed the identity of the other party and that they are not a danger to themselves. Through the cat's eye, Hu Ying saw Zhang Di, and immediately panicked, not knowing whether to open the door or not. 2 days ago it was because of 2 more glances with this little handsome guy that she got a beating from her husband, and she didn't dare to do it at all. What's going on? Who is it? Fan Yonggang put down his cell phone and walked over with a displeased face. Hu Ying immediately stepped back and signaled for him to see for himself. Fan Yonggang looked through the cat's eye and was delighted, then frowned widely. The heart was happy it was this Zhang Di guy who took the initiative to deliver the door. The big frown is because the family is there, and if they move, they will have to find a new body if their identity is revealed. Fan Yonggang gently raised his eyebrows, a trace of venom flashed between his brows, and his sinister gaze glanced at Hu Ying beside him. An idea was born. The big deal is to silence all the people in this family and live under a different identity in the future, posing as this person called Zhang Di. Anyway, Fan Yonggang's body is still being used by himself, so as long as the body is left behind, the family is reunited. As long as the traces were disposed of, even if the Psychic Investigation Bureau came, they wouldn't find themselves. The plan was perfected in his mind, and Fan Yong opened the door to the room just now. Zhang Di narrowed his eyes and smiled. How are you, brother Fan? I'm here to fix the air conditioner in your house. Sister-in-law is at home, right? Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Opening the door and asking if his sister-in-law was at home did cause Fan Yonggang a small stir of anger. Yonggang, who is it? Van's mother asked as she walked up. He glanced at Zhang Di, then his face changed and he hurriedly turned back. Xiaobao, quickly hide the homework. The corners of Zhang Di's mouth twitched. This aunt was so rude. Fan Yonggang smiled and said, why did you come to fix the air conditioner in the middle of the night? Come on in. Noticing that Sun Qingshan was also there, Fan Yonggang frowned greatly and suddenly looked at Zhang Di's empty hands. The expression also became wary. Aren't you here to fix the air conditioner? Where are your tools for fixing the air conditioner? Nah. Here it is. Sun Qingshan pointed the matrix light at Fan Yonggang and opened it. A strong light shot straight to the face door, only to hear a zip, a blue smoke. Fan Yonggang screamed miserably, caught off guard by the illumination, and immediately covered his eyes with one hand and fell backward. Sun Qingshan was in hot pursuit with his daylight matrix lamp, and moments later he and Fan Yonggang twisted into an uncontrollable fight. Zhang Di frowned slightly. I haven't even made a move yet. What's your hurry? There was a shriek in his ear. Hu Ying had already been scared to the point that her face was pale and blossomed, her hands shielded in front of her body shivering, her eyes looking at the 2 people in front of her in fear. I'm here, don't be afraid, sister-in-law. Zhang Di forcefully swept Hu Ying into his arms, patting her fragrant shoulders to comfort her fragrant nose. Soft jade into the arms, the skin is water smooth, the feel of the hand is soft and boneless, it is very wonderful. Is this a woman's body? Zhang Di was a bit remorseful. Had he known that embracing the body of a beautiful woman would feel this way, he would have agreed to Qin Meng's pursuit a long time ago. Hu Ying was still in shock. How could she know how to be shy? On the contrary, what Fan Mother did was a bit out of Zhang Di's expectation, only to see Fan Mother holding Fan Xiaobao with one hand and covering Fan Xiaobao's eyes to prevent him from looking. Fan Xiaobao struggled and tried to run out of the room, yelling, they're hitting Daddy, Grandma, let go of me, I'm going to help Daddy fight the bad guys. Fan's mother instantly burst into old tears and choked, Xiaobao, that's not your father, he's long since stopped being your father. Grandma, why isn't he my dad? Fan mother looked at Zhang Di and Huiying sadly, and choked with despair, my own son, it's impossible for me not to recognize him. He's not my son, at least not the one who lives in his body, and I sensed it the first day he took over my son's body. Bao bao bao, don't go over there. Huiying breaks away from Zhang Di and runs all the way to Xiaobao, and eventually manages to hug her mother-in-law and her son. Zhang Di gazes grudging, hey, in the end, they are still an outsider, this chow thief is not appropriate. Fan Yonggang roared and punched the daylight matrix lamp, and with a click, the matrix lamp shattered all over the place, and Fan Yonggong's fist was zapped with shards of glass. Looking at the blood all over his hands, Fan Yonggong's face became hideous and he began to twist his neck without any regularity. You forced me to do this, everyone here is going to die today, your souls are going to be my tonic, you're all going to die. As each word was spoken, blood and flesh began to peel away from the top of Fan Yonggong's head, a piece of rotten flesh. The piece of rotting flesh, barely visible as a nose and mouth and eyes, two eyeballs irregularly glued to the rotting flesh, one above the other. The ghostly aura grew stronger as the rotten flesh crawled out of Fan Yonggong's body. Until finally, Fan Yonggong's body softly collapsed on the ground, his face taking on a greenish-gray color, already lifeless. Complete rotting flesh appeared, a bloody mess that gave off a faintly foul odor as blood pattered and dripped onto the wooden floor. The body twisted and changed shape, the bones of the whole body were twisted, a bone spur pierced through the skin, white and ghastly oozing. Fan Yonggong's wife and children hugged together and did not dare to look up, even for a glance. Ding! Ghost detected, target strength judgment, late stage ghost, host chance of survival, 100. An eerie aura spread out, rotten meat surrounded by yin qi, the wooden floor under his feet began to be eroded into a dark red color, surrounded by cold to the bone. Crap, brother Fan, what have you been through? Sun Xingshan was disgusted by this scene. Sun Xingshan, who was brainstorming how Fan Yonggang died, looked at the daylight matrix lamp in his hand with a heartache, hundreds of thousands of dollars, so gone. Zhang Di hugged his bladder and leaned against the doorframe and laughed, old son, don't you want to help? Go ahead and help me finish him off. Die, both of you two fucking things. The rotten meat whistled and lunged at Zhang Di, passing by Sun Xingshan. The corners of Zhang Di's mouth twitched, what grudge? He's the closest to you and you don't look for him, you come to me? Zhang Di felt offended, and since he was offended, the natural thing to greet the rotten meat was a slap. It was only when the rotten meat was about to come into contact with Zhang Di that Zhang Di slowly raised his hand. Sun Xingshan's face changed greatly, fuck, you step horse, quickly flash away, stand there and wait for death, quickly flash. Before the words were even spoken, he saw Zhang Di's palm, and a fire rising straight up to the ceiling. Chapter 046, I recognized this car wheel that crushed over my face. The bald donkey and his entourage, who were following the tire marks in search of the hit-and-run electric car, suddenly stopped and stared blankly ahead. What a pure true yang energy fluctuation. The middle-aged burly man had a hint of disdain on his face. What's the use of being even more pure? Looking at the scale of the energy fluctuations, it's at most a qi drawing stage. The old Taoist said with interest, such pure true yang, it is obvious that this guy is still a child body. You guys slowly find that electric car. The old Taoist, I went over to take a look to see if I can take a disciple or something. Since we're all caught up, let's get together. A few people also ignored the search for the hit-and-run driver and rushed straight to the location of the energy fluctuation. 1202. Zhang Di raised his hand, and the fire embers were nearly a foot high, so much so that the Zhang Di that Sun Xingshan saw right now had his entire body shrouded inside the embers. A fiery palm of such a scale degree burned quite a lot of qi, blood, and internal energy, and in such a state, Zhang Di could maintain it for a maximum of 3 minutes. But it doesn't even take 3 minutes, 10 seconds is enough. Sun Xingshan looked at Zhang Di in the flames as if he was dumbfounded. The young man standing in the flames was as terrifying as a heavenly god descending from the earth. Tall people, that's what it is. How can I ignore a man who was right in front of me? Sun Xingshan's old face reddened with embarrassment and almost used his toes to pick through the bottom of his shoes to pick out a 3-room apartment underneath. It's so embarrassing. In front of him, he had made a big fuss about not understanding the horrors of ghosts, and now this face was beaten as if it had been thrown light, not the usual pain. A mess of rotten meat had reached less than a meter in front of Zhang Di's eyes, and the blazing flames were burning the ghostly aura emanating from the rotten meat. The 2 eyeballs hanging in the bloody mess flashed with a horrified mix of mood swings, and the rotting meat came straight to a sharp stop. Tomcat-like, he made 2 blood-red footprints on the floor. It's not even time to run. Zhang Di's lifted palm directly called out on rotten meat's face. Pust. With a muffled sound, the rotten meat was directly broken in half, even the power was reduced by half at once, and it directly fell into a mid-stage ghost. The remaining half of the rotten meat flew out in a spiral inflection, and Zhang Di rushed up with one strong step, and the fire in his hand weakened. If he had been given another slap at the level he had just been given, the rotten meat would probably have been smoked out. With the mentality of utilizing waste, Zhang Di decided to spare his life for the time being, or at least collect some extermination labor fees. All of Fan Yanggong's family were dumbfounded. Fan Xiaobao said with an innocent look on his face, "Superman, Grandma, is he the fireman from the Fantastic Four? Don't hit. Don't hit, if you hit me again, I won't have it." The rotten meat composed of Inchi slumped to the ground and raised its hands to beg for mercy. Zhang Di said in a flat tone, "No more attempts to struggle?" "No. Can't. It's fine, my fire embers can attack remotely, allowing you to run 39 meters first." "No. Don't dare. Rotten meat's head shook like a rattle. Zhang Di raised his hand and slapped it. "Come on, defy me. What reason am I looking for to beat you if you don't resist me?" Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Zhang Di was filled with a hateful expression. "Since you don't dare to resist, there's no point in keeping you around." Dabbing, the fire flared up and a slap landed. The rotting flesh was smoked by a slap. A round, ebony-colored bead rolled out of the ghostly air, and Zhang Di picked it up and put it directly into his pocket. Son, Yanggang ah. Van's mother rushed over and hugged her son's body, and immediately howled when she realized there was no life left. "Oh. Dad." Fan Xiaobao was crying in his mom's arms. Huiying kept bowing to Zhang Di while shedding tears. Thank you. At this moment, Zhang Di was tempted to say, "No need to thank me, just $200,000. But seeing how sad they were put the idea to rest, and as much as he enjoyed being inappropriate, he had to have a human form at the very least. Otherwise it's really an animal. Zhang Di came to Sun Qingshan's side and said in a flat tone, "Let's go." "Oh, well, go. So the two left 12:02 when Zhang Di ordered the elevator. Sun Qingshan rushed up with a quick step, with a fawning expression. I'll come, this kind of small matter, how can I let you do it yourself?" Sun Qingshan pressed the elevator and was filled with an excited expression. "Crap, good brother, I didn't expect you to be a high-level person in the chi-inducing stage. It's because I have eyes that don't recognize MT. Tai, and I only know how to pretend to be a good person, and I completely didn't expect that a high person would be by my side. Zhang Di, do you need a handyman around you? If it's really not possible, I'll be fine as a pendant on your leg." The corner of Zhang Di's mouth twitched. "I still like the untamed look you had before. If you keep this up, we will be strangers from now on." Sun Qingshan's expression was stunned, and he immediately straightened his back. "It's like that hotel manager in Tomato Richest." Going downstairs, Sun Qingshan took the initiative and said, "Zhang Di, where do you plan to go next?" "Going home." Sun Qingshan fawned. "I drove here, I'll send you back, please be sure to give me this chance to perform." How could Zhang Di let him send himself back? If that's the case, wouldn't you be exposed if you gave a false address before? So Zhang Di shook his head and refused. "No need, I have a car." Then Zhang Di put the key in an electric car. Sun Qingshan said with a puzzled face, "In the middle of the night, the district gate is locked, prohibited entry and exit at night, how did you ride a tram in?" "I flew in." The corner of Sun Qingshan's mouth twitched. "I said, although this person of mine is usually not very smart, but I am not stupid enough to be so gullible, you fly me." Look at the two words yet to be said. Only two wings sprang out from the pedals of Zhang Di's divine donkey electric vehicle, and underneath the wings, the sixth brother's spray bucket spewed out a stream of blue electric light. The swoosh shot straight up into the sky, rising 7 or 8 meters directly in place. Zhang Di looked down at Sun Qingshan with a hefty smile. "Have you fed all the trust between people to the dogs? Why would I lie to you?" Sun Qingshan opened his mouth wide and rubbed his eyes in disbelief. "Crap, WOJ, did it really fucking fly in? Technology is so advanced now? How come I didn't know? By the way, what brand of electric car is this? Gone, bye." Leaving behind the dumbfounded Sun Qingshan, Zhang Di left in style. Outside, Monk Huangju squatted on the ground and studied it carefully. "This should be the tire print that ran over my face, I can't believe it's here. But Not right, how this tire tracks here to the end? Could this tram still fly? The old road skimmed his mouth and said, don't watch a little science fiction movie, how can this electric car sleep? The old Taoist looked at the sky with a face full of shock, his fingers shivering as he pointed at a flying white electric car above him, and called out crap. The other two sniffed and looked, and felt that their three views were shattered. Isn't this a world where ghosts are revived? How did it become a science fiction movie? Fuck. Monk Huangju's face changed and he bellowed, that's the one that crushed through my face, I recognize the tire. Chapter 47, You Mustn't Break the Color Barrier. This is a case of enemies meeting enemies. Zhang Di had just flown out and was about to vanish into thin air when he heard a furious roar, I recognize the tire. Then, a system prompt rang in his head. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 100 points of negative emotional value. Who's this guy? He's worth a lot of money. Zhang Di looked down, only to see an obese bald man who was tall and half a head taller than himself staring at him angrily. There was also a middle-aged man with a sturdier figure than him, as well as an old Taoist priest who was thin and tall with a completely white beard. Recognize my tires? Zhang Di looked at the big monk suspiciously until Zhang Di took a closer look at the birthmark on the big monk's face. No, that's not a birthmark, that's a fucking tire track. Whose birthmark can grow this big? Having gained 100 points of negativity in one go, although Zhang Di was happy, he now felt that the most important thing he should do was to bolt. So a twist of the throttle. Whoosh, 3 seconds instantly mentions 100 mph. Still want to go? Stay and put you. Monk Huangju shouted angrily and directly put his hands together in place, his voice as loud as an empty valley ringing a bell, golden bell mask, ha. As the ha sound landed wang. There was a sound of wang in a square kilometer, and a huge energy shield covered the entire kilometer. This energy cover shone with golden light, the shape was a golden bell, and the outside of the cover was entwined with circles and circles of Sanskrit incantations, just like a vision of heaven and earth. Crap, bull. Before the word bullish was finished, Zhang Di's divine donkey tram crashed head-on into the energy cover of the golden bell shield, hitting it with a speed close to 300. Only a boom was heard. The divine donkey tram itself similarly formed a golden protective shield, and the moment it collided with the golden bell shield, it would even bounce twice. This. Boobs to boobs? Zhang Di was confused, was this energy shield so hard? The divine donkey trolley had the attribute of never flipping over, so Zhang Di didn't fall out of the car and the car didn't flip over, just the front wheel hit the energy shield, and under the super high-speed friction, it was crumbling out of sparks, just couldn't advance the slightest bit. The middle-aged strong man was dumbfounded, damn, this electric car, simply too god, where is this electric car? This is a magic weapon, right? The old Taoist fell into deep thought, this kid, it couldn't be that he refined the electric car into a life magic weapon, right? Well, it's possible. Zhang Di, are you guys afraid of something serious? I refine electric cars? Monk Huangju looked at Zhang Di with a dark face, standing as if in horse stance, his hands clasped together, a string of crystal-clear Buddha beads hanging on his wrist. His lips quirked and he mouthed words, and no one could understand what he recited. With the sound of the Buzz Mama Mamaku incantation, the golden bell-shaped energy shield was rapidly shrinking. Zhang Di looked at the shrinking energy cover with some speechlessness and big head. Did it mean that he was going to be accountable here today? No, this is a society of law and order, and senior monks can't kill people indiscriminately. Instead, Zhang Di didn't panic. So they gave up resisting and just floated in the air. I'll give him a beating to take the heat out of him. We, Zhang Di, are capable of giving and taking. What do we care about this beating? I've had more than my share of beatings. Who's he? It is not too late for a gentleman to take revenge. If he gets a beating today, then he must beat this monk into a pig's head in the future. The golden bell energy cover was rapidly shrinking until it finally contracted into a 3-meter square, non-stop rotating golden bell cover. The golden bell shroud enveloped the high priest and Zhang Di. Go! Huangju let out a low gulp and threw out the Buddha beads in his hand, which began to extend above Zhang Di's head, forming a bead-strung circle. It put both of Zhang Di's arms directly and firmly around his waist. Zhang Di's expression was nervous. Great. Master, you are a monk? Monks talk about the 4 great emptiness. It's not good for you to look like this, is it? You can't break the color commandment. I am still a child, you don't want to be like this. The horizontal flesh on Huang Ju's face quivered twice. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. The old Taoist with the missing incisors is holding his bladder and giggling, and the middle-aged strong man is squatting on the ground with his hands on his chest to see the joke. If he wasn't trapped in the golden bell, Zhang Di was tempted to run over and ask him a flavorful question. You're here to take a dump, aren't you? Huang Ju approached Zhang Di, pointing to the tire tracks that stretched from the side of his chin to the right side of his head and asked in a deep voice, Kid, does it look familiar? Zhang Di showed his bewilderment and shook his head repeatedly. Never seen a tattoo like this before. The horizontal flesh on Huang Ju's face throbbed once again. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 10 points of negative emotional value. Huang Ju lifted his palm and smacked Zhang Di on the head at once. The snap was not to mention how loud it was, directly giving Zhang Di a buzz in his head. Zhang Di's eyes went black and a sharp pain came to his head. Huang Ju said with a smile on his face, recognize it now, don't you? What you are feeling right now is the feeling of a car while running over a poor monk's head. Zhang Di shook his drowsy head. He looked up angrily at this bald ass. Huang Ju glared, what are you looking at, kid? Then raised his palm and slapped Zhang Di on the head again. Zhang Di's brain was buzzing, he was already bleary-eyed this time, and if he received another blow, he would definitely get a concussion. If Wang Xihan's family has money, it's okay. The big deal is that he will go to blackmail him tomorrow for 100,000 or 800,000, after all, he was involved in his own concussion. But Wang Xihan, a poor man, had eaten his last meal, and if he died the day after tomorrow, he would have enough money to spend for the rest of his life. After hitting Zhang Di twice in the head, Huang Ju asked in a deep voice, I asked you what you feel, answer the poor monk quickly or I'll give you a pig's head. Zhang Di stared at Huang Ju's fat face and said in a deep voice, we were even when you hit me the first time. After all, I was the one who drove too fast and ran over your head. It was my fault. We're even, but the fact that you hit me a second time is a bit of a stretch, isn't it? Snap. Zhang Di almost fainted with two black eyes. This bald ass, he even slapped again? Zhang Di shook his head and said with an angry look on his face, bald ass, you'd better go home and ask your mom if she has felt a mysterious power from a teenager named Zhang Di. Oh, I greet your mother. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 50 points of negative emotional value. Huang Ju's face changed, his horizontal flesh trembled dramatically. Brat, your grandfather's leg, how dare you curse my old lady? The poor monk will open your brain today, and then take you to become a monk in the temple on the mountain, which really owes a beating. Enraged, Huang Ju raised his hand to hit the fourth brain, but his hand just went up. A majestic and terrifying aura accompanied by a very majestic voice descended from the sky, you dare. Whether it was Monk Huang Ju, or the old Taoist with the missing door teeth, including the middle-aged stout man and Sun Xingshan who was preparing to climb over the wall out of the neighborhood. Unexpectedly, they looked to the sky, filled with horror and shock, followed by a huge palm falling from the sky. Zhang Di's entire body was confused. This is heavenly justice? Chapter 048. Did Grandpa succeed in his rebellion? Is this justice from heaven? At some point, the sky had already dark clouds rolling over, covering a minimum of 10 kilometers in circumference, and the horrifying pressure suppressed people who couldn't catch their breath. Rolling clouds obscured the moonlight, and a cloud-changing human face quickly rolled out of the tumbling clouds as if a hurricane had blown through them. This human face was, at the very least, 2 or 3 kilometers in size. Ding. Ghost detected, target strength judgment, peak ghost god, chances of host surviving are 0. Host, fend for yourself, this system will remember your valor even if it leaves you. Your mom. The system senses a mysterious force from the curse. Just then, a huge slap condensed from dark clouds descended from the sky, impartially covering down towards Monk Huang Ju's bald head. Monk Huang Ju's pupils contracted, his expression couldn't be more horrified, shock mixed with horror. Luckily, he reacted in time, and his palms came together, then separated, slapping on the golden bell shield, which instantly contracted as the energy gathered together. At that moment, the dark cloud palm had fallen heavily. Boom! With a loud bang, Monk Huang Ju's golden bell shield shattered. A wave of chi nearly lifted everyone to the ground, and Zhang Di, who was sitting on the electric car, was lifted a dozen meters. The crowd looked at Monk Huang Ju dumbfounded. I only saw that Monk Huang Ju was gone. No. Is not gone. Instead, it was slapped into the ground, and you could vaguely see a shiny canopy buried in the middle of the road. With the head as the center, the trace of a giant palm print 3 meters square, with a depth of more than 2 meters at the very least. The old Taoist and the strong man didn't dare to breathe a single breath. Cough, cough, cough. Deeply buried in the ground, Huang Ju coughed a few times, his head shaking violently, then with a poof, a pair of hands scurried out of the ground. The voice had long since lost its booming quality. The old mongrel, Wu Tiankue. Quickly, quickly pull out the poor monks, coughing. Vomit. Rip, pull you out? The old Taoist and Wu Tiankue each tugged on one of the monk's hands with a force. Huang Ju was yanked out of the ground, staggering onto the ground, spitting blood, his face as pale as paper and bloodless. Only after spitting out 2 mouthfuls of blood did Huang Ju look up with a face full of horror. The dark clouds rolled over once again, as if a furious beast, with a fierce and terrifying aura raging beyond measure. A villa in Puzhou City. The 2 female ghost kings, who were nestled on the sofa chasing after the drama, looked at each other with a horrified face. Xin Xiaoyuan trembled with awe. This magistrate is here? Han Ruoyun trembled. This breath should be Zhou Jiayin Tianjun visit. Never seen the magistrate so furious. This is why. Go on, check it out. The 2 female ghost kings went straight through the wall and went away at a fiery speed through the air. Spiritual Coordination Bureau, Chu Weigui and his party, chillingly looked at the instrument in front of them. The 4-sided box with an antenna inserted was dripping and rattling. The sound was so loud that it had reached a piercing effect. Whenever there was a fluctuation in the ghostly aura of a ghost beyond the level of a ghost general, an alarm would occur in the psychic energy tester. The louder the alarm, the stronger the ghost is. Director Zheng Kai said in a trembling voice, the sirens are piercing, and this is the first time ever in our city of Puzhou. The ghosts and monsters that appeared this time are at least of the Ghost King level. Nope. Chu Weigui said in a deep voice, the approximate bearing of the energy fluctuation should be 15 kilometers from here. A strong pressure can be clearly felt even here. It's impossible for ghosts at the Ghost King level to have such a terrifying fluctuation of in-spirit energy. The other side is likely to be ghosts and gods. Ghosts? Rip. So what do we do? Chu Weigui put on his jacket, pack up and follow me. In addition, gather all the brothers who went out on duty today. But director, they are ghosts and gods, and with our backward equipment and capabilities, we'll be cannon fodder if we go. Chu Weigui glared at the young man. Remember, we are the Psychic Investigation Bureau, and it is the duty of each and every member of our Psychic Investigation Bureau to investigate and quell psychic incidents. It is our declaration that we will not be deterred by the perilousness of the situation, that we will not be cowed by our weakness, and that we will make the preservation of the people's security our first priority. Yes, Chief. All hands, move out. The dark clouds covered the top of the city, and there was a grand scene of the city wanting to be destroyed by the black clouds, even more spectacular than the black clouds pressing down on the city. Lying on the cell fence, Sun Qingshan's soul was scared out, just as if he did not realize that he was sitting on a red-tasseled head of the iron rod. The furious and majestic voice once again penetrated everyone's eardrums. This official hates you bald donkeys the most, the little sannyasi, offending the emperor's authority. His crime should be executed. This official on behalf of the work, to take the life of the dog. An exaggerated aura enveloped monk Huang Ju, followed by a giant hand descending from the sky, spreading out its palm, about to crush monk Huang Ju to death. Huang Ju looked at the giant hand with an expression of despair. He looked at Zhang Di with a bitter expression. The poor monk just wanted to hit you a few times on the brain to take out his anger. Who would have thought that such a disaster would fly? Kid, you're really something. You can even collude with the ghosts and gods. You're a human in vain. Zhang Di's face turned blue as he looked at the giant hand. Wait a minute. I'm not human, but I'm still 10, so to say I'm human in vain is a bit much, isn't it? How does this even change the breed for me? The giant hand, surprisingly, stopped in midair and fell into hesitation. Zhang Di was puzzled. He listens to me? The giant hand froze in midair, and there seemed to be a pair of eyes in the clouds watching Zhang Di, and even his anger was all collected in an instant. It seemed to be waiting for Zhang Di to speak. After waiting for about half a minute, Zhang Di did not open his mouth. He simply did not know how to open his mouth, in case people also treat themselves as a mole. A finger could run itself over. When the time comes, you'll just have to go underground and cry your heart out to the old man. Could it be one of the old man's men? Zhang Di's eyes lit up, and he immediately sat up straight and cleared his throat and asked, Dare I ask this? Mr. Fierce Ghost. Monk Huangju was confused. Clueless +1. Clueless +2. Clueless +3. Please no, please, forget it, I won't ask, you'd better strangle him. Zhang Di waved his hand somewhat bitterly. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Monk Huangju almost fell headlong into the pit, saying it is the same as not saying it. The poor monk thought that he could get away with it. A man has to be a man when he needs to be a man. However, as if they had sensed Zhang Di's entanglement, the giant hand that had condensed from the clouds in midair quickly dissipated without a trace. Even that majestic voice has become no longer majestic, even with some humility and awe, Emperor. Seemingly thinking of something, that majestic voice immediately changed its words. This official understands, this little Shai will be at your disposal. Zhang Di's heart trembled. Could it be that Grandpa's rebellion had succeeded? Is this the old man's new right-hand man in hell? Sent here specifically to ensure his safety? That must be it. The old man was so fierce that he didn't expect to overthrow hell so quickly. Chapter 49, this bald ass is shameless. What else could Zhang Di say? And he had no choice but to take it for what it was worth. Zhang Di weakly said, This demon god lord, we don't have a great deal of beef per se. After all, I was at fault for the hit and run, and he deserved to hit me in the head. We were even on the first brain, and you gave him another brain to offset his second. This third brain, I want to do it myself. After all, things like revenge are only accomplished if you do it yourself. The corner of Monk Huangju's mouth twitched. Dear father, you hurry up to do it. After doing so I can go back to the temple to recuperate. Not a month or two, this internal injuries will not be healed. Luckily, he had practiced his golden bell shield to the point of purity, or else with that slap just now, he could have been slapped directly into a meat pite's horrible. It's a ghost. Against the Demon King, all three people had to work together to barely take it down, the demon god's words even their own masters only have a foot in the door. At those words, the ghost god in the clouds was silent for a moment. Finally Wave spoke, Emperor Zhang, you remember that no one on this earth deserves your apology, Chun. I am leaving. Then the clouds faded until a clear night sky was restored. The ghosts and gods disappeared. Wu Tiankue said to the old Taoist priest with a palpitating heart, Old mongrel, see, this is the ghost we're chasing today. The old Taoist also had palpitations. Luckily I didn't catch up, and luckily the breath disappeared when I chased him here. Will you chase after it later? Chasing. Still chasing? Chase your grandma, you can't chase big girls like this in the future, and you can't send heads like this, Wu Tiankue continued. Then do you still accept disciples? The corners of the old Taoist's mouth twitched. Don't mention which pot is not open, except a hairline apprentice. People's background is so hard, still need to worship the master? Yeah. Wu Tiankue looked at Zhang Di like he had seen a ghost and suddenly lamented, people call this a background, we only have a backdrop. However, this backstage is indeed hard enough, I just can't figure out why a demon god would want to serve as a backstage for a human. The old Taoist murmured, it couldn't be his family's old ancestor, could it? Wu Tiankue shook his head, impossible, if it's this brat's old ancestor, it's impossible for him to be respectful to a junior. The old Taoist grinned his mouth with missing incisors, hey, it won't be any Jade Emperor reincarnation anyway, a plot of this scale is simply not for us mortals to get involved in, go ahead and beg. Monk Huangju straightened his tattered robe, taking a step in front of Zhang Di, he casually made a move, and the Buddha bead spell that bound Zhang Di returned to his hand. Then he folded his hands and bowed deeply to Zhang Di. Amitabha Buddha, the poor monk had eyes but did not recognize the mountain, please don't take it to heart. Zhang Di took a look at his Buddha bead Dharma weapon and narrowed his eyes slightly. These beads, why do they look so familiar? Yes, the same material as the ghost bead, except that the ghostly aura on it had long since been wiped clean and replaced by the Buddha nature. It should be a Buddhist treasure refined from ghost beads. Zhang Di's brain was still buzzing with a splitting headache, at the very least, he had a mild concussion, this monk had hit too hard. If it were an ordinary person, this is going to beat someone to death. I have to go to the hospital tomorrow to have my brain checked. It is estimated that when a slap goes down, the average person's brain is shattered. This slap can catch up with the strength of one's own cartwheel. It seems that this bald donkey has calculated the damage before putting out the suit. What's wrong with a little interest? It's not too much to ask for interest, is it? Zhang Di said in a flat tone, hey, bald donkey, may I ask the people? If you are selling this Buddha bead? How much is it transferable? Huang Ju froze, carefully pinched the Buddha beads tightly, and said with a Buddhist face, "Scholar, this is a non-sale item, only for gift, not for sale." "Then you give it to me?" "I'll let it go if you give me the Buddha beads, and I'll let it go if you slap me that much more," said Zhang Di. Huang Ju shook his head and said, "The Buddha beads of the poor monk are only given to those who have a destiny." "And how is it considered karmic?" Huang Ju smiled faintly, full of Buddha nature. "Simple, you go to the poor monk's temple and donate $8 or $10 million of incense money, you are the one with the destiny." Zhang Di's liver hurt from anger, he had never seen anyone more shameless than himself. "I kind of saw it today. Damn, I have to compete with him in the future. People who are more shameless than me, Zhang Di, will not be allowed to exist in this world. Since you're shameless, don't blame me for being shameless. System, convert his ghost beads into emotional values." Ding! Conversion successful. Congratulations to the host for gaining 9,000 emotional values. Tear. Zhang Di secretly sucked in a breath of cool air. I didn't realize the beads were so valuable. He had noticed that the string of beads had a total of 18 beads, symbolizing the 18 Luohan of the Buddhist sect, so one was worth 500 emotional value. Zhang Di instantly felt his brain aching and happy. On the contrary, Huang Ju was slightly stunned, then his face changed greatly, staring at his empty wrist. "Where is the poor monk's Luohan bead? Damn, where are the poor monk's Lohan beads? My Buddha beads, why are they suddenly gone?" Then Huang Ju kept rummaging around on his body and couldn't find it after half a day of searching. Zhang Di's face was expressionless. "You look for it, and you won't find it until the new year." Huang Ju cried with a sad face, "Poor monk's Buddha beads, that was suppressed by the Buddha for 3 years before the purification of the magic treasure. Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 60 points of negative emotional value." Wu Tiankue skimmed his lips and said, "Your beads are not quite a lot of it. A string of 18 Luohan beads are heartbroken into this, really stingy." "But it's not stingy." The old Taoist complained, "Last time I went to his temple, I saw a dozen strings of it." The result to him to ask for a string of all kinds of excuses, deserved. Zhang Di's mouth quirked, "A dozen strings?" It was as if he saw a future that belonged to him, whether or not he could become stronger and avenge that brain was dependent on his Buddha beads. "There's already a dozen bunches. It's not too much to ask for me to get 10 or 8 bunches, is it? Take, is the point." Shit. This senior monk cursed angrily and gave up his search. Zhang Di said, "Master, monks are concerned about the 4 great emptiness. Don't take these external things too seriously. Life doesn't bring death, of course it doesn't bother you. It's not yours. And," Zhang Di continued, "you're so immobile in this manner that you're cursing, degrading the majesty of the Buddhist sect." Huang Ju angrily grunted, "Humph, the poor monk cultivates his body but not his mind. The precepts are all for show with the poor monk. The poor monk can do whatever he wants." "Oh, my God. More arrogant than me, Zhang Di? Come on, boy." Huang Ju stuck his head forward and said in a muffled voice, "Give poor monk a brain, poor monk won't owe you anything. Let's say goodbye." "Don't. I don't even know where your temple is. How am I supposed to get what's mine?" Zhang Di laughed coldly, "You are a senior monk and I am just a child who has just been initiated. Even if I beat you, it will be painless. You've given me a concussion with these brains of yours. Wait until I'm stronger than you, I'll fight back." Huang Ju froze, then smiled. This kid is so naive. He thinks it's as easy as picking up cabbages? If you want to surpass the poor monk's cultivation, it'll take 30 to 50 years. In that case, then the poor monk will be waiting for you. Wait. Zhang Di laughed coldly, "You haven't told me your temple address yet. When the time comes, I can't even find a place to take revenge if I want to, so give me the address first before you leave." "This way." Huang Ju was about to open his mouth with a roll of his eyes. Zhang Di mysteriously observed the surroundings and whispered, "You only tell me one person, I promise not to tell anyone else, so keep your voice down." Huang Ju was slightly stunned and smiled faintly, full of Buddha nature, then leaned over and whispered something in Zhang Di's ear. Zhang Di grinned, striding towards the old Taoist. "Hey, Taoist, may I ask to go to Master Huang Ju's temple to sit a few old men?" No, please ask the people." "Also not right. Well, may I ask where is Master Huang Ju's temple?" The corners of Huang Ju's mouth twitched. "I'm so sorry, I've lied for nothing." After that he grimaced. It seems that he has met his match in the area of playing with his brain, and the other guy is still a half-grown kid, and the green is better than the blue. Chapter 050, this is too Versailles for him, isn't it? Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Huang Ju, who was behind Zhang Di, finally understood why this kid had told him to keep his voice down. It was too damaging. Huang Ju pits Zhang Di as a whispered pit, and Zhang Di pits Huang Ju as a pit in front of everyone, a conspiracy and a young conspiracy. The old Taoist was filled with suspicion. Didn't the bald donkey tell you? Why do you still need to ask me? Oh, he was hurt, and his voice was so low I didn't hear him, the old Taoist said in disbelief. Who in this ghost-catching circle doesn't know that he, Huang Ju, is an accomplished monk of the Zhejiang Temple? Zhang Di suddenly realized, so it's the Temple of the Nine Abodes. He turned back and sneered at Huang Ju. Master, didn't you just say that you're monk 6 roots, the 3rd-generation disciple of Huang Ju Temple? Huang Ju let out a dry laugh. Don't care about these details. In life, it's inevitable that there will be slips of the tongue, It's also really shameless of him to interpret this as a slip of the tongue. The old Taoist said with a puzzled face, you bald ass, didn't you sever your ties with Huangjue Temple long ago? I remember you were expelled from the division. Old mongrel, you shut up. Huang Ju flushed red and roared at the old Taoist priest. The old Taoist hemmed and hawed and laughed. Little friend, he was indeed a monk of Huangjue Temple in the past, only because of some small matter was expelled from the division. That's why he turned to the 9 Abbot Temple. This bald ass once misappropriated the temple's incense money to go down the mountain to whore himself out, only to be blocked. Zhang Di was given a shock. Simply, he thought that he was already very inhuman, but he didn't realize that this monk was the one who really wasn't human. Taking incense money to go out and play with chicks? So he was expelled from the master's school. And Monk 6 Roots isn't his legal name. Monk 6 Roots was his former master. This bald donkey, too bad, all the past decades of grudges, to now still hold a grudge, tsk. The old tout scat his mouth while describing Huang Ju's black history. Zhang Di was dumbfounded by what he heard. Good guy, this bald donkey's 3 views are even more crooked than his own. This has been crooked to the maternal grandmother's home. At least Monk 6 Roots was his teacher, but it turned out that by now he was even trying to pit his former teacher. When it comes to being inappropriate, Monk Huang Ju is really not a human being. Although Zhang Di was not a proper person, he repaid kindness with kindness and avenged with hatred, unlike this bald donkey, who repaid kindness with kindness and avenged with hatred. Huang Ju's face was as black as the bottom of a pot, and his violent anger had made him lose his face. Old mongrel, poor monk, exterminate you talkative chicken. Huang Ju stormed up, his golden bell shroud protected his body, even his body turned a light golden color. Ding! Detected that the avatar Vajra unbreakable body can be extracted. Extracting the enhancement requires 100 points of emotional value to be consumed. Please tell me whether to extract it or not. Ding! Detected extractable avatar golden bell. Extracting the reinforcement requires 100 points of emotional value to be consumed. Please ask if you want to extract it. Ouch! Nice yo! Zhang Di's eyes lit up as he silently extracted in his mind. Ding! Vajra unbreakable body extraction reinforcement successful. Ding! The golden bell extraction reinforcement was successful. Zhang Di's heart was happy. After all, he had seen the ridiculously strong side of these 2 types of kung fu. A 460 miles per hour motorized car that runs over your face is fine, it must be invulnerable. The golden bell shield couldn't even break through his own divine donkey, it wasn't normally strong. Now that he knew Monk Huang Ju's base camp, it would be good to go to 9 Abbot's Temple to seek revenge on him in the future. Zhejiang Temple Zhangdino is a very famous local temple, located in Zhejiang Mountain. Small couples love to go there to seek marriage. It is said that the old monk on the mountain, Abbot Jiubao, is very accurate in fortune-telling. Well, next week, if there is time, ask Qin Meng to go there to tell a fortune. And by the way, ask for another marriage. Seeing Monk Huang Ju get real, the old Taoist monk spread his legs and raced. Old bastard, don't go, poor monk will kill you. So a young, strong monk soldiered on down the main street in pursuit of an old Taoist priest who was nearly 100 years old. Just moments before the two were out of sight, Zhang Di and Wu Tianka heard a piercing scream. Ah! Crikey! Me, ah! Me! Naya! Both of them looked at the same time, and as a result, they saw a person hanging on the iron fence of the Longshan No. 1 neighborhood. Who else could it be if not Sun Qingshan? Only Sun Qingshan's expression was pained to the point of distortion. Zhang Di took a look and the corners of his mouth twitched. Wu Tiankue took a look and the corner of his mouth twitched. Man, how much does this hurt? The red tasseled spearhead-like point on the iron fence clearly poked in. This guy is so good at finding places to watch theater too. Zhang Di, tear. Zhang Di. Crouch, quick. Quick, help me, crouch. It's stuck in, the old man's chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum. Flower. With a look of disgust, Zhang Di turned on flight mode and lifted him off the steel fence. When Sun Qingshan touched his butt, his hands were full of blood. I have to go to the doctor, so I'll talk to you again sometime. Sun Qingshan clamped his legs and walked like a male duck, gradually disappearing into the night. Wu Tiankui and Zhang Di were dumbfounded by this scene, and if they looked closely, they could still see drops of blood where Sun Qingshan had passed. Wu Tianka was about to bid farewell to Zhang Di and leave, but then his face changed and he looked violently into mid-air Ghost King. Wu Tianka muttered, his expression grave. 2. Wu Tiankui's head began to sweat. Then he came to Zhang Di and said in a deep voice, "Little brother, run as many blocks as you can. I sense that there are 2 Ghost King level ghosts and monsters coming this way." "What about you?" Zhang Di asked. Then looked up and down Wu Tianka, a 37 or 88 years old or so, stout and strong man. His breath was long and stretched, he looked like a practitioner. Monk Huangju was already strong, this guy must be strong too. Wu Tiankui glanced at Zhang Di suspiciously and took a look at the backseat of Zhang Di's electric car. "Me? I'm running with you." The corners of Zhang Di's mouth twitched. Wu Tiankui asked, "Aren't you going to take me with you and run?" Zhang Di had a strange expression. "Are you planning to let me take you and run with me?" "Yeah, is there a problem?" Wu Tiankui said in a serious manner, "If you don't run, it will be too late. Don't worry, I will give you the fare." "Nuts you, bye." "What kind of strange people are you running into today?" Even stranger than yourself. Zhang Di, who was about to drive the divine donkey away, suddenly heard 2 voices floating over in the distance. "Husband, don't go. Honey, wait for me." Is that familiar voice not? Han Ruoyun and Xin Shaoan? Husband? Husband? Wu Tiankui was dumbfounded and stood frozen in place. Seeing the 2 gorgeous female ghosts floating down, his forehead was already covered in cold sweat. What's going on today? First you run into a ghost god, then 2 female ghost kings? One should be able to deal with ghosts at the level of ghost general, but even so with Ghost King, let alone 2, but it looks like the kid knows them well. We've been calling each other husband and husband, how can we not be familiar with each other? At the same time, Wu Tiankui was wondering about Zhang Di's identity. What exactly did this guy do? A ghost god is backstage in the front and 2 female ghost kings as wives in the back? If only I had this life, why am I still trying? Just as Wu Tianka was immersed in his fantasies, he saw Zhang Di looking at the 2 female ghosts with a look of disgust. "Don't talk nonsense, who is your husband? Who is your husband? I've never admitted to our relationship." Wu Tiankui's heart pumped. How come this kind of good thing doesn't come to me? That's a little too Versailles for him, isn't it? Chapter 51, I'll make an AK and get you a rifle. Zhang Di, don't be like this. If you don't admit it now, you'll admit it one day in the future. Han Ruoyan didn't take Zhang Di's words to heart, and after finishing the previous sentence, came the next one right after. "Emperor Zhang, what happened here? Say." Over here, Xin Shaoan had already grabbed Wu Tianqi's collar and questioned with a frosty face and a ghostly aura. "Honestly, what have you done to my husband?" Wu Tiankui panicked and said, "I didn't. He lies down and gets shot." "No? Then what's with the signs of a fight here?" Zhang Di's people were numb. "He's my friend, don't you guys?" Yes, we are friends." Wu Tianka nodded repeatedly, scared out of his wits. Only then did Xin Shaoan scatter her hands. Wu Tiankui was so upset. What kind of person is this? No, what the hell is this? Zhang Di helplessly said, "Didn't I tell you guys a long time ago, don't take the initiative to look for me in the future when there's nothing to do. If there's a need, I'll definitely look for you guys." Han Ruoyan looked heartbroken. "Zhang Di, how can you be like this? If you're like this, I'm really upset." Xin Shaoan's face was full of disgust. Zhang Di said helplessly, "Please be normal, go back to wherever you guys came from. If you need help, I will definitely look for you guys." The 2 female ghosts were full of grudges, like 2 disgruntled women. "Let's go, bye." Zhang Di mounted the small electric donkey and slowed down this time, only driving 160 miles per hour, a speed that was well within his grasp. And Zhang Di decided that in the future, he would never drive so fast in a night car again, and the one he hit this time was fortunately a cultivator. If this hit an ordinary person, they would have to be disintegrated. Watching Zhang Di leave, Han Ruoyan licked the corners of her mouth, revealing a hungry wolf-like expression. Can't you notice that he seems to be different somewhere? Shin Xiaoyuan pondered for a moment and then said, it seems that his qi and blood have been enhanced by dozens of times compared to the first time we saw him. Han Ruoyun's eyes lit up, her peach blossom eyes darting back and forth. It had only been a few short days since he had seen Zhang Di's qi and blood had grown from an ordinary person to such a terrifying level. The stronger Zhang Di's qi and blood was, it also meant that the longer he could be in contact with the ghosts, and doing some intimate actions would not cause any harm. She seemed to have discovered something and gradually became excited, her eyes flashing like a hungry wolf's. With the increase in qi and blood, Zhang Di could even consume his qi and blood to play a soul-to-soul type of taboo game with the female ghost. This was still only a few days. If another 10 days and half a month passed and his qi and blood reached a certain level, then taking down the future new owner of this hell is completely out of the question. Thinking about it, Han Ruoyan giggled cheekily. Shin Xiaowan said with a look of disgust, the way you look now, you look like a demented man, and your smile is so obscene. Humph, what do you care? Let's go home and catch up on the drama. Han Ruoyan floated away, and Shin Xiaowan followed closely behind, only that Han Ruoyan was secretly excited in her heart, and fortunately, Shin Xiaowan had not yet figured this out. The Major's first blood must be mine. When Zhang Di returned home, he bagged his head on the big soft bed. His head was groggy until now, and he almost slept for a second. After an unknown amount of time, Zhang Di was in a deserted area, and the eerie atmosphere around him told him that he was having nightmares again. A lifelike old man wearing a Chinese mountain suit and carrying a large guan knife appeared in front of Zhang Di's eyes, with a smile on his face. Grandpa, why are you giving me a dream again? Didn't I just burn a few $1 million for you the day before yesterday, and you spent it all so quickly? Zhang Kuiyan said in disgust, a few $1 million is not money? Your grandfather has 10 million soldiers under his hands. The little money you burned for me wasn't enough to keep the army on rations for a week, and those, well, aren't enough. However, your kid is really something. The money burned to me is actually heavenly court coins. According to the exchange rate, 10,000 can be exchanged for 1 million plutonium coins. Zhang Di's mouth twitched. Exchanging currency? It can still be played like this? The old man laughed. This you don't understand, right? Since there is the existence of the netherworld, then of course there is also the existence of the heavenly court, only that most of the mortals in the Yangwang world don't even know about it. Good grandson, you really burned a good handful of paper money. Tomorrow you will burn some more military money for grandpa. Not much, $100 million will be almost enough. The corners of Zhang Di's mouth twitched as he cried out, $100 million? Aren't you trying to kill me? The old man hemmed and hawed. You can burn down a bunch of good stuff like Gatling. 100 million isn't hard for you at all. This. Well then. Zhang Di remembered that he had earned more than 9,000 emotional values from a wave of fat today, and if he boosted his strength, it was not impossible to burn 100 million. By the way, Grandpa, is the Gatling I burned for you working well? Zhang Kuiyan was greatly relieved in his old age and smiled as he stroked his palm. Good use, quite good use, but only 10 Gatlings are just a little less from now on. Burn 10 Gatlings a day for Grandpa, and yes, more bullets too, so that we can create fire suppression. Also, burn an AK in the old man. Zhang Di's mouth twitched. Why don't we make you a new Laifu? What do you mean? What rifling? Zhang Di he laughed. Lousy whole AK, and then give you a whole Rifu. Oh, we two over, bigger and stronger, and then create glory. Zhang Kuiyan raised his hand on the spot and gave Zhang Di a blow to the head, blowing his beard and glaring. Brat, speak properly. Gloomy, dare to call yourself an old man in front of Grandpa? Tear. Zhang Di grimaced in pain. It's pain from the depths of the soul. Being hit in the head by a bald donkey when he was awake, not realizing that he would have to be hit in the head by the old man when he was asleep, Zhang Di felt so miserable. Listen. Zhang Kuiyan said with a straight face, after school tomorrow, burn a few bazookas for me. I'll need them when I attack the city. Also, make sure you burn $100 million for Grandpa's military every week, plus more of any good stuff you think you can use in the war. Zhang Di nodded his head and said, no problem, as long as I can help Grandpa accomplish the great cause of unifying the hell, not to mention burning things, I can burn myself. The old man smiled and said, okay, this is what you said. In the future, Grandpa will wait for the day you burn yourself down. Zhang Di was shocked. Crap, this is his own grandfather. The old man laughed. Alright, I won't ink with you, this burning money also requires physical strength. Seeing that you were so good at this aspect of paper burning, Grandpa is proud of you, so Grandpa has decided that he will reward you. The old master suddenly stretched out a finger and tapped Zhang Di's brain, a blue light flashed, and Zhang Di's mind suddenly gained something more. This, surprisingly, is a gong method that can cultivate the soul, and the name of the gong method is called soul swallowing technique. Ah, this. Soul swallowing decision? This must be a divine skill created by the eater. Remember, don't forget to burn the bazooka for Grandpa tomorrow, a few more rounds of artillery, and the AK too. If there's any left, burn some fighters, armored vehicles, tanks and artillery. This Grandpa, he doesn't even think about whether he can stand it or not. Chapter 052, those two maids should be used. Also, the old master said with a smile on his lips, didn't Grandpa arrange 2 ghost servants for you a few days ago? You should still use them. Zhang Di was shy. Old master, is it really appropriate for you to talk to your grandson about this kind of juvenile topic? Seeing Zhang Di's shyness, the old man gave another blow to the head. We're all big men, why are you shy, kid? Grandpa put them up there so they could serve you. You're so tired from burning a paper, you have to relax, right? Grandpa had explained before he arranged for them that they would not resist you no matter what you asked of them. You have to use them if you should, and, after using both of them you'll realize that it's good for your soul oh so much. Zhang Kuiyan had a decent look, but he was talking about old rascals. Yeah? Zhang Di fell into deep thought, his expression growing more and more agitated. If he had known that this was the case, then he would have long ago used them first to solve his needs. Okay, no more nonsense with you, Grandpa is leaving, I'll give you a dream next time. The old master just disappeared, and Zhang Di woke up from his dream, realizing that it was already light outside. Looking at the time, 5:30 am. There were still 2 hours to go to school. Zhang Di was sleepy. But the brain is still groggy. Touched the top of the head, good guy, so big a big bag, the ball is hit too hard. After organizing the cultivation technique that the old master had forcibly inserted into his soul, Zhang Di's eyes were glowing. This thing seemed to be good. As long as one operated the soul swallowing technique, one could devour ghost chi and souls, thus making one's soul strong. Even the soul can go out of body after cultivating to a certain extent. System, may I ask if this soul swallowing technique of mine can be strengthened? System, everything under the sun can be strengthened. Everything under the sun? Zhang Di unconsciously glanced down at his companion treasure weapon. The scale is sufficient, and there is absolutely no need for secondary reinforcement, or they would be overwhelmed. How much emotional value do I need to consume to strengthen the soul swallowing decision? System, just consume 3,000 emotional value. Fuck, 3,000? Why don't you go grab it? After hesitating for a moment, Zhang Di clenched his teeth and said, I'll give you a chance, 2,000 emotional value for me to strengthen. System, host, this system never bargains. Zhang Di was angry. I'm just asking you, is 2,000 okay? System, host, it's like this. Fuck. Zhang Di said angrily, we've been together for so long, is 2,000 okay or not? Give me a quick answer. If 2,000 doesn't work, I'm going to be a normal 3rd grade student tomorrow and never affect another person's mood again. System, this. Well, 2,000 can be strengthened. Zhang Di's heart was overjoyed. Come, strengthen it. Ding. Reinforcement successful. Before Zhang Di had time to be happy for long, he only heard the system say, it's like this host, since this technique is an exotic technique, this system is discounted by 50%, and the original price is only 1,500 points of emotion value to strengthen it. Zhang Di immediately felt a burst of liver pain. Why the fuck? Didn't you fucking say so earlier? System, the host also didn't have a chance to let this system express itself. Zhang Di's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Fuck it, count me in. Spending all his life hunting birds, he didn't expect to be pecked blind by them. I can't believe I was put on the spot by the system today. The mood was so bad that I had no choice but to go and look at the personal attributes panel to suppress the shock. Avatar, soul swallowing decree, enhanced, absorbs ghost energy as well as souls 10 times faster. With that 10x alone, it's totally overpriced. System, how much emotion value do I need to consume to raise my Vajra unbreakable body to the highest level? System, requires 800 emotional value to be consumed. What about the golden bell? System, requires 800 emotional value to be consumed. Zhang Di hesitated and asked weakly, discount? System extracts, cannot be discounted. Grandma Lee's, hurry up and upgrade. Ding. Upgrade successful. It was cool to have a plug-in, but after boosting these two abilities, I didn't feel any changes in my body. It made sense when one thought about it, except for the Vajra unbreakable body. The golden bell shield was used in a way that consumed chi and blood in true chi to maintain it. In other words, the stronger Zhang Di's chi and blood was, the longer the golden bell shield was maintained. Vajra unbreakable body is not. Vajra unbreakable body is a layer of reinforcement to the exterior of his body, and his body is as firm as a Vajra. Due to leveling up his golden bell shield to the highest level, Zhang Di's golden bell shield was too much stronger than Monk Huangju's. It's just that the staying power. Koff is a world away from Monk Huangju. Conservatively estimating, Huangju's strength should be in the astral realm, and most likely in the later stages. The ranks of ghosts are Ghost, Ghost Spirit, Ghost Phantom, Ghost Fury, Ghost General, Ghost King, Ghost God, and Ghost Emperor. Ghosts had a total of 8 ranks, but human cultivators in the Yang world had only 5. They were body forging, chi drawing, Big Dipper, dematerialization, and mountain moving, and as for how these realm levels corresponded, Zhang Di didn't figure it out. However, Zhang Di could extrapolate the corresponding level of ghosts and monsters through his current level. He himself was now forging his body, yet he could easily kill a ghost monster at the ghostly level in seconds. That chi drawing should be able to compete with a ghost fiend or a ghost general. Check the mood value, and it's currently at 7030, which could be considered a fat wave. System, how much emotion value do I need to consume to raise the Divine Elephant Prison Suppressing Strength Remnant to the next level? System, requires 2000 emotional value to be consumed. What about the next level down? System, the next level down requires the consumption of 3000 emotional value. What about at the next level? System, at the next level it takes 5000 emotions, LV6 takes 8000, LV7 takes 12,000, LV8 takes 17,000, LV9 takes 23,000, and LV full level takes 30,000 emotions. Zhang Di had a bit of a headache. Following such a growth trend, the remnants of the Divine Elephant Prison Suppressing Strength alone would still require 100,000 emotion points to raise to the highest level. With so many negative emotion values, how many pandas would one need to starve themselves thin to save enough? Forget it, take a step. System, upgrade Divine Elephant Prison Suppressing Strength Residue to LV4 level system. Ding, upgrade successful. As usual, a current forced its way into. This feeling is so strong, not generally strong, and the strength has been enhanced by several times at the very least. Calling up his personal attribute panel, Zhang Di was also taken aback. Strong, too strong, ridiculously strong. Emotion Management Master System Properties Panel. Host, Zhang Di. Realm, Chi Drawing, Early Stage. Strength Attribute, 1280, 8 to 10 for normal people. Physical Attributes, 1300. Agility Attribute, 1280. Blood and Chi, 1800. Yang Chi, 18,100 full value. The stronger the Chi and blood, the more Yang Chi. Props, the ultimate tram. Click for details. Martial Art 1, Kunlun Fiery Palm LV10, fully leveled. Martial Arts 2, Vajra Unbreakable Body, fully leveled. Martial Art 3, Golden Bell, full leveled. Avatar, Quartering, LV1 level. Technique 1, Divine Elephant Prison Suppression Strength, Remnant, LV4 level. Technique 2, Soul Swallowing Decree, Enhanced Version, Ability, Devouring Ghost Chi, Devouring Souls. Emotional Value, 2030. The attributes had been enhanced several times, which Zhang Di could feel, but what surprised him the most was that there seemed to be a very strong flow of power within his body. This power automatically runs through the body. Chapter 053, I have a stomachache, you'll give me a cranium? The moment Zhang Di stepped out of his house, he declared in his heart that the day of impropriety was about to begin. I'm going to starve and thin at least 30 pandas today, but I feel lightheaded and groggy just walking around. When he got to class, Zhang Di, who had 2 eyes and a confused face, managed to attract Yang Tao's attention. Yang Tao knocked on the table and asked, Zhang Di, cheer up, you're not going to sleep in my class today. Zhang Di drowsily looked up at Yang Tao, who was beautifully dressed today, with a white shirt and tight black wide-legged suit pants. But he didn't care to appreciate any of this. He just stood up breathlessly and said, Teacher Yang, I have some discomfort in my head. Yang Tao said in a deep voice, Did you stay up late playing games again yesterday? No. Zhang Di shook his head. I accidentally hit my head yesterday, so I might have a concussion. Yang Tao sneered, still want to cheat me? Do you want to skip class? You don't have a decent reason for wanting to skip class. Zhang Di helplessly walked up to the podium and stuck his head forward. If Mr. Yang doesn't believe me, you can touch it yourself. Zhang Di pointed to his own heavenly cap. The expression of Wang Xihan in the back row of seats was not calm anymore, nervously looking at Zhang Di on the podium. This guy, he's not really concussed, is he? Yang Tao will be convinced to use his hand to touch it, suddenly surprised with some heartache. What's going on? How did you get such a big bag on your head? It's just that I bumped into something yesterday. Maybe I have a concussion, mister. Yang, I want to go to the doctor. Come on, I'll take you. Zhang Di shook his head and said, no need, mister. Yang, the students are waiting for you to teach. Why don't you let Wang Xihan accompany me? Yang Tao put down her book and pointed at Wang Xihan. Wang Xihan, you accompany Zhang Di to the infirmary. Okay, mister. Yang. So, Wang Xihan took the initiative to assist Zhang Di out of the classroom. Yang Tao's heart was in turmoil as she organized herself, class, while worrying about Zhang Di while lecturing. In the meantime, at No. 12 Xinqing Street, Xinshi, sitting in the car, was explaining something to a beautiful pregnant woman with a belly. Just do what I say, remember? The pregnant woman put $20,000 in her bag and patted her chest and assured, don't worry, beauty, this matter is on me. I was a professional actor before I got married and pregnant, and I made sure I acted just like the real thing. Xinshi explained, this is not acting, this is real, okay, go. Okay. Until the pregnant woman leaves. Xinshi remembered the inappropriate Zhang Di, and pleasantness was written all over her face. Humph, Wang Chaoyong, aren't you afraid of your parents knowing? Today I'm going to let your parents know how much of a scum his son really is. Same time. Zhang Di was assisted by Wang Xihan down to the playground towards the infirmary. Wang Xihan said nervously, Zhang Di, your head shouldn't have been crashed yesterday, right? Well, it's possible. Zhang Di nodded. Then covered his head and went into the infirmary. Wang Xihan wailed, you mustn't get a concussion. If my mom knew that I had concussed someone at school, she would have to hang me from the beams and beat me. At this time, when the doctor in the infirmary saw Zhang Di enter with his head covered, he took the initiative to inquire, this student, what's your condition? Zhang Di covered his head and frowned, doctor, my stomach is a bit uncomfortable. Wang Xihan opened his mouth, not a concussion? Why is this about the stomach again? The school nurse was a bit confused. What are you covering your head for when you have an upset stomach? Maybe. Shifted. Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. The corner of Wang Xihan's mouth twitched, goddamn shifting ah. The school nurse also looked displeased. Tell me, what is your situation? Zhang Di said in a serious manner, I just feel that, recently, my stools are a bit unformed, and I always have stomach pains. The school nurse frowned. It could be gastroenteritis, so have you been having regular bowel movements lately? Regular, very regular, I poop every morning at 6 o'clock sharp. The school doctor nodded his head while touching Zhang Di's stomach. Every morning at 6 o'clock on time, poop quite regular ah. Zhang Di scratched his head while saying, but, I don't get up until 7 in the morning every day. The school nurse's mouth twitched. Wang Xihan looked at Zhang Di with a disgusted expression. You poop at 6 o'clock and don't get up until 7 o'clock? Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Zhang Di sighed in his heart. These emotional values were simply a drop in the bucket. Expecting to harvest emotional value like this, when would I be able to go to the Nine Abodes Temple to seek revenge on monk Huangju? There has to be a way to do this. The school doctor said with a black face, classmate, I think you don't have a stomach problem, you may have a brain problem. Why don't I prescribe you some mothballs? If you can't, I'll give you a craniotomy? Zhang Di's expression tightened. No. No need, doctor, my illness seems to have been cured. Sorry for the disturbance, goodbye. Old Wang, go. Zhang Di pulled Wang Xihan away, but before he left the door, he muttered in a low voice, what a quack, I have a stomach ache and give me a craniotomy. Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. The school nurse came over the entire time with a black face and closed the door walking out of the infirmary. Wang Xihan wondered, Zhang Di, didn't we come to see the brain? Why don't you look at it again? Zhang Di put his hand down, there's nothing wrong with my brain at all. Wang Xihan was exasperated, then why did you drag me here to accompany you to see the brain? The college entrance exam is coming up soon and I still have to study. Zhang Di was puzzled, just the two of us like this, even if we try harder, then the ones we grabbed will still be the bottom spots. Wang Xihan thought for a moment and nodded vigorously, well, I think what you said seems to make sense, forget it, don't go, I won't understand if I go anyway. By the way Zhang Di, you said you poop every morning at 6:00 am. And you don't get up until 7:00 am. You mustn't poop a pocketful of pants to change your underwear every day? Zhang Di shook his head and said, that's not necessarily true, whether or not you change your underwear, that depends on the amount of feces. Chapter 054, beat this heterosexual couple to death. Anyway, they were already out, neither of them were going to go back to this class, so the two of them simply went to the library within the school to pass the time. The two of them found a hidden corner, each with a glass of fatty happy water, and just as they sat down, Zhang Di felt the fluctuating yin qi of the glass bottle in his pocket. Then a cloaked female ghost came out through the glass bottle, and when Zhang Di was puzzled, he saw the schoolteacher ghost pointing to the books on the shelf. Zhang Di said to the air, go, soak in the library and read for the next few days, I'll come back to pick you up. The female ghost reveals an excited expression. It seems that the ghost who learns to learn to die is also fond of learning, and he, Zhang Di, likes girls who are motivated. Wang Xihan was dumbfounded, Zhang Di, who are you talking to? And then looked left and right. There's no one here. Did you hit your head yesterday? Zhang Di smiled faintly, of course it's not to talk to you, do you think that in your current state, I would take the initiative to persuade you to come and read a book? That's true. Wang Xihan didn't think much about it and asked after taking a sip of fatty happy water, what do you plan to do after high school? Zhang Di blinked, nonsense, after I graduated from high school, of course I'm going to Tsinghua for college. The corner of Wang Xihan's mouth twitched as he looked at Zhang Di like he had seen a ghost. Zhang Di, I finally know why Qin Meng likes you, and I think it's because you are thick-skinned enough. Zhang Di explained, this you don't understand, right? The so-called thick-skinned eat until enough, thin skin can't eat, that's the truth. Wang Xihan said enviously, how I wish I had a girl as beautiful as Qin Meng to like me as well. Zhang Di, I really envy you. You say, I've never been able to find a girlfriend, is it because I'm too demanding? That's why I can't find one, right? The corner of Zhang Di's mouth quirked, no, it's not that you're too demanding, it's that they're too demanding. What a girl asks for depends on the question of your looks. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Wang Xihan was torn for a long time, but he was unable to refute this statement. Zhang Di laughed and asked, girlfriend, this kind of thing, sooner or later one day you will have. Old Wan, don't be anxious, when you have made a name for yourself, the girls are still not a handful? Wang Xihan nodded and said, that's true. So what are you going to do after high school? Wang Xihan fell into a daze, and then seemed to come back to the spirit, cannot wait to say, I am ready to go out to work. People say, read 1,000,000 books is not as good as traveling 10,000 miles. If you enter the society early, even if you don't have a good degree, you can still increase your life experience, don't you think so? Where are you going to work? Zhang Di asked. Wang Xihan shook his head, I don't know, what place do you think is more promising? Give a recommendation. The corners of Zhang Di's mouth twitched, you've been reduced to a part-time job, what more development prospects do you need? Still, a recommendation is a recommendation. Zhang Di thought carefully, then said, I think you should go to the northwestern part of the country to develop. Why? Even if you can't earn any money, at least you have a mouthful of air to drink and you can't starve. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Wang Xihan said angrily, fuck, if I were a giant panda, I would have been starved to death by you long ago, you just damaged you, not to talk with you. It was only after class that the two returned to the classroom. Zhang Di, who was preparing to cultivate a relationship with Qin Meng, saw that Qin Meng was surrounding herself with a few female classmates. Xiao, don't cry, look at how your eyes are swollen from crying. It's not worth it for scum like that. There are plenty of good students in our school, you had to find a boy from another school to fall in love with, now it's good, isn't it? Now you're green. I told you a long time ago that he was no good, and you still didn't believe me. In the middle of the girls, Zhu Xiaoxiao cried her heart out with pearly blossoms and red eyes. Xin Meng turned around and saw Zhang Di. Her eyes were extremely complicated. She came up and asked in a small voice, "Do you think that boys who cheat are all sick? Why, obviously have such a good-looking girlfriend. Xiao Zhao's boyfriend still cheating. Really do not understand how to think." Zhang Di froze. Was Qin Meng knocking on the door? This relationship hasn't even started yet and you're already suspecting cheating? Aha! Isn't it? Qin Meng asked cautiously. Zhang Di, do you have anything you want to say about men splitting up? Zhang Di pondered for 2 seconds. I didn't think to say anything about men splitting up, but girls splitting up, I have something I want to say to them. Zhang Di's words caught the attention of all the girls. Qin Meng asked suspiciously, what do you want to say to them? Splits, please contact me. The 5 or 6 girls all had a look of righteous indignation on their faces. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining 20. Ding! With a series of prompts, Zhang Di was delighted to receive 100 negative emotion values. It's no longer a question of cleaving or not cleaving, it's a question of whether Zhang Di will be beaten. As expected, the 5 or 6 girls all looked at Zhang Di in annoyance. Zhang Di said innocently with 2 eyes, it has nothing to do with me, I am just passing by here, and I originally didn't intend to get involved in the topic of falling in love and splitting up. After all, I haven't fallen in love either. Not far away, Wang Qiaoyang also followed with righteous indignation. Qin Meng, I think you'd better ignore him, this guy has no sense of public morality at all. People have lost their love for Zhu Xiaoxiao, and he's still here making heartless jokes. This kind of person doesn't deserve a girlfriend at all. Zhang Di glanced at Wang Qiaoyang with a flat expression, a faint smile at the corner of his mouth. He was not angry at all. After all, who's going to get on the bad side of a scumbag who knocked someone up and demanded an abortion? Maybe he's going to go home and be hung from the beams and beaten by his parents. Qin Meng pouted her lips and was also a bit angry, raising her pink fist to Zhang Di's shoulder for a boing-boing punch, not daring to hit too hard for fear of hurting him. Wang Qiaoyang is right, you won't even be able to find a girlfriend in the future, and I'm ignoring you. After saying that, Qin Meng went back to her seat and pretended to be angry. Zhang Di looked in his eyes and just smiled faintly, returning to his seat to face Wang Qiaoyang and said with a straight face, Wang Qiaoyang, whether or not I can find a girlfriend in this life has nothing to do with you, but it's definitely difficult for you. I have a love dictionary here that can get you a girlfriend fast, should I pass it on to you? Wang Qiaoyang laughed coldly, you'd give me a love dictionary if you have one? Would you be so kind? Why don't I believe you? If you really have a love dictionary, you'd have gotten off the hook a long time ago. Wang Qiaoyang turned his head to Qin Meng and said attentively, Qin Meng, this weekend, are you free? There's a movie that just came out recently, and it's said to be very good, so I'll treat you to a movie this weekend. Qin Meng sneaked a look at Zhang Di, hardened her head, and her smile stiffened. Good. Good Watch a movie together. Zhang Di was so embarrassed that he wanted to pick out 3 rooms with his feet, and with this embarrassing acting of Qin Meng, the ghosts did not believe that this was the truth. Favorably, Wang Qiaoyang believed it and said with an excited face, then it's a deal. Zhang Di shook his head and sked, TSK, Wang Qiaoyang, this is not the way to ask a girl out, come on, I'll give you a demonstration. In Wang Qiaoyang's dumbfounded eyes, Zhang Di was lying on Qin Meng's table with one hand on his cheek, only a dozen centimeters away from Qin Meng's face. Qin Meng's eyes dodged to look away, only her little face was red. Zhang Di was full of tenderness and said, Meng, are you free this Sunday? Well. I promised Wang Qiaoyang I seem to be free. Wang Qiaoyang, I want to beat this heterosexual couple to death. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Zhang Di revealed a smile like a spring breeze. This Sunday you accompany me to go to Zhouzheng Mountain to burn incense and pray for blessings, wishing all the students in our class, all of them can get into the ideal university. 9-foot mountain? Is it really? Qin Meng had a surprised expression on her face. Zhang Di continued, it is said that Abbot Zhou Bao on the mountain is very accurate in fortune-telling, so let him help us calculate our marriage. Qin Meng? Meow. Zhang Di, you fucking. Wang Qiaoyang said angrily, Qin Meng has already promised to accompany me to watch a movie, what makes you ask someone out? You were looking at success, and then this guy cut you off? Zhang Di threw Wang Qiaoyang a doting look, Xiaoyang, it's better for you to go to the supermarket outside the school to shake the car in front of the entrance to get it right before you come back. Big deal, I'll help you out with the dollar you coined. Chapter 055, The Treasure Trove of Love. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 50 points of negative emotional value. Blitz, this was definitely a blitz for Wang Chaoyong. Wang Chaoyong anxiously said, Qin Meng, you are not allowed to promise him, you have obviously promised me to watch a movie together on the weekend. A gentleman's word is his bond, and even though you're a girl, what do you mean by going back on your word like that? Qin Meng's expression was tangled and her little face was wrinkled before she looked at Zhang Di with eyes full of help. Although she didn't want to accompany Wang Chaoyong to the movie, she promised Wang Chaoyong just to irritate Zhang Di. But it doesn't seem right to go back on a promise. A softie with a pleasing personality like this, rejecting someone is a guilt trip for her in itself. Of course, if you just say you're going to sleep with someone, then they're sure to give you two mouths to feed. And by the way, I'll call you a stinking hooligan again. Zhang Di secretly sighed. It seems that this villain is only himself. Zhang Di frowned. Wang Chaoyong, how can you force a girl to date you? You have to know that a strong twisted melon is not sweet. Wang Chaoyong had long been somewhat twisted by the anger and said angrily, I know that a strongly twisted melon is not sweet, but it quenches the thirst. Zhang Di was filled with helplessness. Chaoyong, girls won't like a boy who exposes his sense of need to chase a girl. You don't want to come across as needy, in which case the girl thinks you're purposeful and will be passive. Wang Chaoyong froze, chewing on the meaning of this sentence, and realized that it really makes sense. His expression eased a few moments, but he still grimaced as he asked, Is this something you learned from the romance book? That's for sure. Wang Chaoyong hesitated and finally clenched his teeth. Give me your love treasures, the big deal is that I won't chase Qin Meng in the future. I can also see that the other Qin Meng doesn't like me at all. What she likes is the rogue-shaped personality that has no face and no skin to damage others. This bastard didn't even see that Qin Meng's head was on the verge of spitting fire. What do you mean I like rogue-shaped personalities? That's pretty insulting of him, isn't it? Zhang Di frowned. This bastard deserved to be single. Even when he volunteered to request to resolve a grudge, he had to disgust others in front of the girl he liked. It's degrading behavior in the eyes of the girl, it's very unpromising, and there's even less style to go around. Looks like he wasn't wrong when he punked him yesterday. Zhang Di said in a deep voice, Okay, I'll only read the love treasures once, so it's none of my business if you remember it or not. You wait. Me and open the recording. Wang Chaoyong opened his cell phone recording very seriously, seemingly forgetting that Zhang Di was not a qualified panda keeper. Zhang Di said, Listen carefully, I will recite it once. Seeing Wang Chaoyong nod solemnly, Zhang Di took a deep breath. Then, have you eaten yet? Go to bed early, you had a meeting all day today, wear more clothes, drink hot water, that girl is my sister. Don't be ridiculous, I really don't, we're really good friends, the battery was dead, I just turned it on, and I've just been thinking about you. What are you doing? I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong, you're fine, I don't deserve it, forget about me next. The whole class was dumbfounded, the corners of their mouths twitching wildly. Good guy, this fucking love treasure trove is simply amazing. Several of the male students were leaping into action, seemingly looking for a hammer, screwdriver, crowbar, or something to pry Zhang Di's head open. Let's see what kind of shit he's got inside his head. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Ding! Before Wang Chaoyong could get mad, Zhang Di explained, I don't know if this set of love treasures is useful to you, but anyway, I follow this set of love treasures to fall in love. Zhang Di. Seems to be this way. You see, people girls to him to show affection, he always acted very casual. You can do whatever you like, anyway, I just don't move, and I don't take the initiative to say I like it, and even if you pick your battles, you're completely invincible. Wang Chaoyong gritted his teeth and said, I really should have blackened your other eye that day and turned you into a giant panda. Yoo-hoo, if he, Zhang Di, turns into a giant panda, will the other national treasures on the mountain still have a chance to live? The bamboo shoots in a radius of 1,000 kilometers are all owned by one panda, who dares to grab them with him and starve it to death. After saying that, Wang Chaoyong sneered, Anyway, Qin Meng has already promised to accompany me to watch a movie, and I must watch a movie on Sunday. Qin Meng, you don't want to be a person who goes back on his word, do you? Zhang Di also didn't want to make things difficult for Qin Meng, so he took the initiative and said, Qin Meng, forget about watching the movie, why don't you accompany him to have a meal at noon? Wang Chaoyong's expression stiffened. Can it still operate like this? Pushing his soon-to-be girlfriend to eat alone with his classmates? Qin Meng's small mouth was deflated. You Zhang Di, can't imagine, in your eyes I am such a dispensable person? Tears in my eyes. Xin Meng felt so aggrieved. Okay, Xiaoyong, let's have lunch together at noon. I'll treat you and you'll have lunch with me, okay? Xin Meng's tearful eyes glared fiercely at Zheng Di. Wang Xiaoyong seemed to not be able to see a girl cry, and immediately his heart softened, and he nodded his head in a hurry. Okay, I won't let you treat me, Xin Meng, in the future. As long as you want, I'll treat you to a big meal every day at noon. So, noon, Sichuan restaurant outside the school. Wang Xiaoyong tastelessly ate his mouth as if chewing wax. Sweeping a glance across the room at Zheng Di, who was giving Xin Meng a dish to eat, his face turned blue. I'm cheap enough to pay hundreds of dollars out of my own pocket to treat a favorite girl to dinner with his boyfriend and a big helping of dog food. So, Zheng Di could be happy in his heart. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Ding! Congratulations to the hosts of. The queue never stops for an entire meal. It's hard to find a sheep, but I'm not allowed to wool gather? After finishing this meal, Zheng Di checked his existing emotion value and it had grown from 2030 to 2650. Wang Xiaoyong alone had contributed 500 emotional value, so he must get on good terms with this treasure boy in the future. Treasure King boy is super brave. In the afternoon class, Yang Tao came in with a thick pile of materials. Then he scanned the week and said, "We're not going to lecture in this class, so everyone fill out your volunteer information and give it to me." After distributing them, everyone started to fill in their volunteers, and after 10 minutes, everyone handed in their volunteers, with Zheng Di being the last. Seeing Zheng Di's volunteer form, Yang Tao first had a twitch at the corner of his mouth, then looked up and saw that the bastard was sitting in a serious manner. Yang Tao rubbed his protruding temples and said, "When I took your class, the sentence I explained the most was." She looked deeply at Zheng Di, being practical, "Don't be whimsical and eat as much as you can. But I've noticed that there are still very few students who like to get special, especially certain male students." Zheng Di, tell me, why did you apply for Tsinghua University? Tsinghua University? The whole class was taken aback. Zheng Di was puzzled. It's simple, because Tsinghua University is enrolling students in a hot enrollment. Chapter 056, Wang Xiaoyong equals unwarranted disasters. Yantown is on fire? Class, forgive us for laughing unkindly. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 50 points of negative emotional value. The emotional value of this is from the poppycock as soon as I hear it. Goddamn, Tsinghua University is hot enrollment. Yang Tao did not have the heart to say, "Does Tsinghua University's hot enrollment have a dime to do with you?" Why not? If it didn't matter, why would I apply to Tsinghua? Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 20 points of negative emotional value. Yang Tao was angry and stood up, rushed down the podium and grabbed Zheng Di's ears, reciting words under his breath. "If I don't clean up and clean you up today, I won't be your class teacher, you go with me." Then the voice faded away and the two men came into the office. Only then did Yang Tao scatter Zheng Di's ears, his chest heaving with anger, and Zheng Di seemed to think of Yang Tao in a rocking car. Ride. That one scary children's song, eyes glazed over. Zheng Di, how can you joke about something like applying for an enrollment? Does this Tsinghua University enrollment have anything to do with you? Huh? I'm asking you? Does Tsinghua University have anything to do with you? Do you know what their enrollment scores are? Have you figured out where the door to Tsinghua University opens? You can get into a local 3 universities is very impressive. Do people have to be pragmatic, cannot be whimsical? I'm talking to you, you keep staring at me. Yang Tao looked down and realized that Zheng Di was squinting his eyes and looking at his breasts with an engaged face. Her face suddenly turned red, and she let out a petulant cry. "What are you looking at you? I'm talking to you, do you still have me as a teacher in your eyes or not?" Only then did Zheng Di look up and said very seriously, "I am trying to understand your heart, but your heart is blocked by your chest, so I can only try to observe." Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 50 points of negative emotional value. Yang Tao was angry, shy, and annoyed. Zheng Di quickly said, "Sister Peach, I heard everything. What did you call me?" Yang Tao's heart skipped a beat, her entire spring heart swirling in the midst of this sweet address. "Oh, Sister Peach, is there a problem? I've been wanting to call her that for a long time, but I just haven't had the chance. I've heard everything you just said. I think people should have dreams. Without dreams, what's the difference between a salted fish and a salted fish? So it's my dream to get into Tsinghua University, and it's up to me whether I can get in or not. If you don't even dare to take the first step to follow your dreams, you'll be a softie even if you step into society in the future. Besides, even if I can't get into Tsinghua University, as long as the scoreline is enough, wouldn't it be fine to add another volunteer? Yang Tao thought about it and nodded. Makes sense. Fine then, you'll apply for Tsinghua University then. Hurry back to the classroom, seeing you is distracting. Yang Tao kicked Zhang Di out. Then he looked at his volunteer form and let out a giggle, after which he blushed and muttered, Sister Peach. After school, Mr. Wang Chaoyong took a special bus home. A black Lamborghini seat in the parking space directly across the street from 12 Hinging Street. Xinsher looked at the Treasure King boy who walked into the house with a puzzled look on his face. Strange, why isn't Wang Chaoyong back yet? Who is this middle schooler who got off the special bus? Xinsher was in deep thought, unable to figure it out at all. Treasure King boy's super young. As soon as he stepped into the door of the Chinese villa, he felt a strong murderous aura and the atmosphere was a bit off. Father Yangzi sat in the chair placed in the center of the front door with an iron face, crossing his legs and smoking a cigarette. Yangzi's mom, on the other hand, was carefully winking at Wang Chaoyong. On the sofa in the living room, there was also a pregnant woman with a belly, who was quite good looking, and when she saw Wang Chaoyong, she began to cry and cry. Wang Chaoyong's heart was shocked, and he quickly pondered, did he do something wrong again? Pops even came to personally block the door? Looks like it's pretty big and dangerous. But he couldn't think for the life of him what he had done wrong. Yangzi's father saw his son come back, did not say anything, drew up the belt placed aside and stood up, striding towards Wang Chaoyong. Chaoyong Wang, danger! Miserable screams resounded in the villa, and a few minutes later, Wang Chaoyong was lying on the ground covering his buttocks, losing his voice. Dad, what did I do wrong and you hit me? Ha! Father Brave's eyes widened in anger as he raised his belt and snapped it, once again ushering in a scream of misery from the Treasure King's boy, Super Brave. Adverse son, how did I give birth to such a thing as you? How dare you do something you don't dare to do? You still won't admit your mistake? Ha! Wang Chaoyong racked his brains and thought for half a day, suddenly thought of the love treasure chest that Zhang Di taught himself, so he stammered and carefully said, Dad. Dad, right. Sorry, I don't know where the fault is. Rebel son. Yangzi's father roared, pointing at the small pregnant woman on the couch, look at who the fuck that is, look at someone's belly, understand? Wang Chaoyong Zhan big mouth damn, this is to find me to take over? No, I don't even know her. Dad, who is she? I don't even know her. The little pregnant woman choked in aggravation, yes. I am sorry, I was going to leave in the afternoon, but my uncle and aunt did not let me go. Chaoyong, I didn't think things would come to this, I shouldn't have come to your house to find you, it was all my fault. Wang Chaoyong angrily said, who the hell are you you give me to say clearly, I do not recognize you what the hell is the situation Still pretending? You're still pretending? How did she get pregnant? Don't you have any idea? Uncle. Uncle. The little pregnant woman stood up and went pear-shaped, it's getting late. I have to go home, or my parents will be anxious. Father Yangzi was full of kindness and said, girl, I'll let the driver take you home first, don't worry, this matter must be explained to you. Thanks uncle, no, I'll just take a taxi. No, my grandson is still in the womb, I must have a special car. With that, Father Yangzi began to arrange for a special car. Wang Chaoyong was confused, his grandson? I'm your only son I have not yet become a father, you become a grandfather? Looking at the pregnant woman's stomach, Wang Chaoyong seemed to understand something. Big sister, I don't even know you, why are you setting me up? Greeting Wang Chaoyong with a blow to the belt, Yangzi's father said angrily, she's pregnant to set you up? What's the point? Adverse son, you kneel properly and I'll clean you up when I come back. Treasure King boy Chaoyong fell into despair, he knew that this old man of his own recognizes death, and what he says now is useless. This matter has to be considered in the long run, it is that this beating is a bit too suffocating, damn, the ass has become 8 petals half an hour later. Xinsher followed the address and found the actress, who smiled, boss, how did I act? Xinsher's expression was a little off and inquired, that tall with short hair is Wang Chaoyong? The actress smiled cheekily, yeah, that kid is so resistant to beatings, for that big body. Okay, I get it, here's the final payment for you to keep. Xinsher threw $10,000 to the actress and then got in her car and left, finding a place where no one was to stop. Xinsher's face flushed red and green for a while, chagrined, filled with guilt, then despair, and finally anger. Finally, with both fists clenched, he gritted his teeth. Zhang Di, you're good, you're really good. Qinsher, you are really a big fool. Aha, pissed off. Zhang Di, I will definitely kill you. Qinsher raised her head violently, her pretty face containing fury. Since he was able to say the name of this Wang Chaoyong, does that also mean it wasn't hard to find him? You wait for me. Qinsher decided to squat here for the last few days and figure out Zhang Di's whereabouts whenever he saw Wang Chaoyong go out. Zhang Di. Danger.